Chapter 5173. This secret treasure is only a component of the ancient treasure. It has the function of superimposing its own divine power. Once activated, it can make its divine power more than 10 times stronger, and it is also extremely difficult to control. It is not suitable for melee. If it is one-on-one, you don't need to be distracted. Use. That's why God Emperor Mo Long didn't use this secret treasure last time. This is also his confidence that he can kill all the emperors in the Daluo realm one-on-one. Luo Hao panted heavily, clutching his chest. No, I have to hold on. The news has spread, and it will take time for the strong within the clan to arrive. I can't just fall away. He is not reconciled. Carefully plan this mountain range, build this land into his hunting ground, and have a good relationship with those peak powers. He has great hope to hold the first 1,000, get the gift of the gods, and understand the road of the gods. He can't just fall away. For the sake of the family, he can't fall. He is the proudest Dayan immortal of the Gukha family, and he can't fall. I guk Luo Hao. He raised his head and exclaimed in anger, I will never lose to you. Boom! The originally weak aura rose sharply again, surpassing the strong aura at his peak, breaking through the sky. A magnificent pillar of air rushes straight into the sky. The strength has soared, and he has already touched the threshold of the peak. At this time, he officially entered the door of the peak power. Pieces of lightning spread all over the body, flashing the power of thunder up and down. Although his aura skyrocketed, he didn't rush to do it. He could drag it for a while, and if he did it, he would still be unable to withstand the help of the strong inside the clan. Why? It's starting to burn the Tao of Origins. God Emperor Mo Long sneered, the uniqueness is good. It can transform the burning origin into 3 times the divine power. It can't be said to be the first-class skills. It's also the best of the middle-class skills. God Emperor Mo Long shook his head. If you think you can compete with me this way, then you are too underestimating my strength. The 9th turn consummation Dayan Immortal is also divided into high and low levels, and the combat power span is very large, which depends on the strength of the origin Tao. The 9th turn consummation Dayan Immortal on the 5-rank avenue of the origin is considered to be an ordinary rank. The Dayan Immortal on the 4th rank origin avenue, generally relying on the highest treasure, can touch the threshold of the top Dayan Immortal by practicing to the extreme. Only the 9th rank of the 3rd stage origin avenue can be considered a top powerhouse, and with the peak supreme treasure, they can be regarded as the top combat power in the 9th rank of consummation. The powerhouses of the 2nd rank origin avenue can generally touch the threshold of the peak after completing their cultivation. Just like Luo Hao, he is an ordinary 2nd rank origin avenue. After completing his practice, he can touch the threshold of the peak. That is, the ultimate treasure is not enough. If there is half of the treasure of the God Emperor Mo Long, he also has the power of the peak of the eternal immortal. The Tao of God Emperor Mo Long is not the top in the 2nd stage avenue, but it is not the bottom, with a lot of treasures. He is the top of the peak powers, second only to Juyu's extreme big fairy. One person can slaughter hundreds of 9 rounds of consummation Dayan Immortal. The exact division is beginner, ordinary, top, peak, extreme, half-step emperor. The half-step emperor, the powerhouse of this level, is almost the ultimate way, or a peerless arrogant who practice perfection in the unity of 10,000 ways. There are not many in the entire universe, and so far, they don't have a primordial star. In the 5-party world, there are 36 primitive stars in each world, and 180 primitive stars are counted. As long as you are lucky, you will not encounter this monster. If you encounter it with bad luck, you can only run away. The entire primordial star will be the slaughterhouse of the half-step emperor, without a doubt sitting on the first throne. As long as there is no problem with the operation of the Qixin Temple, the two half-step emperors will never collide with each other. In the final analysis, the Qixin Temple is still to screen the strong. They are the dying immortals of the ordinary origin avenue, and they will be selected, and they will be able to stand out in the end. Those who are still the ultimate existence, or the great talents with the unity of 10,000 ways. God Emperor Mo Long looked at Luo Hao contemptuously and said in disgust, "It's just a low-level creature, trying to challenge me." Boom! The two of them rose to the sky in an instant, and every time they flickered, they made a muffled sound. Divine Emperor Mo Long made every shot in the right place. He didn't hurt his vitals. He only moved his veins. After all, the divine power that the original source could burn was limited. Luo Hao was anxious, but he was not anxious at all. He knew very well why the opponent resisted so much, waiting for the other powerhouses in the big Luo world. These powerhouses in the great Luo realm were also lucky, and the 6 of the 10 emperors came to the Jiajiu primitive star, and they could set off each other. In his opinion, this Luo Hao has been guarding this mountain range. 8 achievements are the chief emperor of the Luo realm who ordered it to occupy this place. If he is injured, he can come here to hide and cultivate the divine body, taking Luo Hao as a way of retreat, being able to leave the back to Luo Hao. Obviously, the other emperors believed him very much. At this time, if they ask for help, those emperors will definitely come. He could also use the trick, first seriously injured Luo Hao, and then leaked the flaws and waited for the emperors of the Daluo realm to come over. And then one would come and he would kill one. Even if they come together, he can use the secret treasure to kill 1 or 2, and he can retreat all over his body, avenging his revenge and gaining a lot of achievements. Fighting in this mountain range, you don't have to worry about other old guys coming over and attacking. The emperor of the big Luo world will not be stupid enough to expose his rear and attract other powerful people to deal with him. The strength he showed is not much different from that of the chief of the Daluo world. Coupled with the pretense that the injury has not recovered, they will definitely relax their guard. If there is a chance to kill the chief of the Daluo world, they will make a lot of money this time. The chief of the big Luo world is now ranked 76 with a record of tens of millions. What? Luo Hao held the rotating flying blade in one hand, resisting the heavy fist of God Emperor Mo Long, and a black diamond-shaped crystal column appeared in the other hand. He is not good at close combat. He understands that it is the great way of gold. The divine body is not very powerful. Unlike God Emperor Malong, who has an emperor father, he can spend a lot of treasures and refine his body even if he does not focus on cultivating the flesh. To achieve perfection, with the path of the mountain, not only the power is terrifying, but the defense is also like a sacred mountain, not to mention the speed. Mastering the path of the mountain, there is no escape. The strength of God, Emperor, Mo Long can be said to have reached the point of perfection. This is the advantage of background. If there is no background, physical perfection requires all the worth of an ordinary emperor. Where can I find resources for a 9th turn perfect Dayan immortal? Treasure. Luo Hao himself has a background. Although he is also very strong, he is only one of the top 10 emperors of the contemporary era. Once he fails to join the Dao within the time limit, or has no strength to join the Dao, he will be assigned to the party and lose resources for training. It is difficult to succeed in harmony in a lifetime. Chapter 5174. So he can only fight before entering the Temple of Qixin. In addition to the innate treasure bestowed by the emperor, he also used his life accumulation to exchange for a crystal of destruction of the emperor. This emperor-level destroying God crystal was refined by a power that destroys a piece of emperor achievement. Although it is only a first-order God crystal, it has the power of 30% of the emperor. Once detonated, it can easily kill a rank 9 consummate Dayan immortal, severely injured the peak power, and even a peak power who does not pay attention to it is in danger of falling. This is his biggest hole card right now, and once it is taken out, it also proves that he has really come to an end. Mo Long, don't pretend. I know you badly injured the Far Shield a year ago. I am afraid you have not recovered your full strength now. Luo Hao held the destroyer crystal high and continued, "This is an emperor-level destroyer god Jing. If you don't stop, I will detonate it. Everyone will die together. Even if you can carry it down, your divine body will be on the verge of defeat, and you will not be eligible to compete for the top 10. He had long seen that there was something wrong with God Emperor Malong and added intelligence from a year ago to speculate that God Emperor Malong hadn't recovered 80% of his strength. He happened to retreat here to repair it because of Jian Wushuang. He suddenly left the customs. Thinking of this, Luo Hao gritted his teeth. He almost forgot Jian Wushuang. If it weren't for this kid, he wouldn't be so embarrassed this time. And now he is in danger of falling. But now there is no time to care about him. First solve the current troubles. As long as he can survive this time, even if he turns the mountains upside down, he must find Jian Wushuang and bring him down. Even if it is out of the temple of Qishan, he will not let Jian Wushuang go. But when he thought of the legendary Dayan, immortal Jiyu Daojun, in the world of Tongtian Buddhism, he couldn't help but shudder. There is no one who can become a Daojun. The emperor represents the success of the Dao, and the Daojun represents the power of the origin. Dao has reached its limit, which is comparable to the emperor, and it is known as the Daojun. That kind of limit or half-walking monarch is simply not what they can provoke. Especially in the absence of emperors, these people are the strongest existence. Although God Emperor Mo Long had a strong background, he didn't dare to provoke a Taoist monarch. No matter how strong his secret treasure was, he could kill him at will under the suppression of absolute strength. For example, the high-level Destroy God Crystal. Emperor-level Destroy God Crystal. God Emperor Mo Long sneered and said with disdain, "It's really stupid. You detonate. Even if I die with you, do you dare?" In addition, the novel app I'm using recently, Mimyriad app, Android, and Apple phones support it. In his opinion, if destroying God Crystal is useful, he directly buys 100 crystals and throws one out when he meets one that is stronger than him. Isn't he invincible? This kind of emperor-level destroying God Crystal. Only material damage, possessing the pinnacle of the treasure armor, can withstand the destruction of 99 of the destroying God Crystal. The remaining a little bit will be offset by the inner armor, let alone killing the pinnacle of the gods. Even the top-level Dayan Immortal with the 9th rank consummation is difficult to kill, and at most he will bully those poor ghosts who can't afford the precious armor. It is ridiculous to scare him with such broken things. You idiot! God Emperor Mo Long humiliated each other heartily, constantly cannibalize Luo Hao's inner defenses, causing him to completely collapse. Okay, in that case, let's all die together. Luo Hao was also the first time to use Destroy God Crystal. He had only heard of this prohibition-level one-time treasure before. He knew that he could not kill the opponent, but he did not expect God Emperor Mo Long was so absent. God Emperor Mo Long's eyes condensed. Call. A trace of power penetrated and destroyed the inside of the crystal, and then suddenly threw it towards Mo Long. The Hei Yao armor on Luo Hao instantly wrapped his whole body, and his figure quickly retreated. This lunatic really dare. God Emperor Mo Long was irritated. In order to prevent Luo Hao from being blown up by his own Destroy Crystal, he had to take a suppressive type of innate treasure and directly suppress Destroy Crystal. In a blue bamboo building, innate top treasure, Genyu Tower. With a muffled sound, the destroying God Crystal detonated in Genyu Tower. That's it. Jian Wushuang was stunned, put down the hand covering his head, put away the only high-level supreme shield on his body, and let out a sigh of relief. This Luo Hao's whole card. Jian Wushuang shook his head and secretly said in his heart, "Can't delay. Luo Hao's mood has changed. If you don't want to help, it's really up to you to explain." He could see from a distance that God Emperor Mo Long had been playing Luo Hao, although he didn't know how much hatred the two of them had. But depending on the situation, it was estimated that he was going to play Luo Hao to death. After a stature, I just wanted to flash past, but found that someone had arrived first. A man and a woman dressed in colorful robes, and the dreamy feathers behind them represent the unique illusion of the big dream world. Brother Mo Long, I am the 6th generation Chief Daozi of the Great Dream Realm. Can you give me some face and give this person to me? As soon as the voice fell, God Emperor Mo Long hadn't reacted yet, and Luo Hao, who was stopped to go, let out a laugh. Ha ha! Luo Hao smiled arrogantly, swept away the loss just now, and said with a smile, "I don't lose money with you two idiots with me. I won't be lonely on the road." You despicable villain, you dare to speak wild words at such a level. The big dream girl shouted angrily, and a red long knife appeared in the treasure in her hand. Divine Emperor Mo Long was stunned for a long time before he could think of a reaction. "Are you from the Dream Clan?" The two nodded. "Now, before you irritate me, get out." God Emperor Mo Long's brain quickly searched for information about the powerhouse in the big dream world, and then yelled, "Get out of here now." The Great Dream Realm is just a middle-class world, and the Daozu is strong enough, the top 100 in the universe. His father did have some friendship with Daozu Daming, but in his opinion, the friendship is nothing but nodding acquaintance. What if there is one? Strictly speaking, the entire eastern region is now two major forces. A Qishui Hall, an Ion Tower. Could it be said that with this, he can only kill the strong of Ion? It's ridiculous. It was a temporary alliance. When they entered the Temple of Qishan, let alone the Qishui Alliance, except for the same clan or the same world, who cares if you are an ally? Besides, a Dian immortal who couldn't reach the top in the 9th round of consummation came to ask for his face. He didn't know what to do for a while. Even the pinnacle powerhouse, no one dares to ask for face at this time. And it is the super powerhouse who is ranked in the top 1,000 by this original star, who has a lot of achievements. Such a fat sheep, give it away. Except for those Dao monarchs. Even if Dian Immortal, who had reached the limit of rank 9 consummation, came, he would dare to let the other party go. Mo Long, my ancestor, helped your father a lot. How dare you be so rude to us? The big dream girl looked angry, and she didn't understand. Chapter 5175. The senior brother beside her pulled the corner of her clothes and whispered, "Junior sister, things seem to be a bit wrong." God Emperor Mo Long was angry with laughter, and he nodded repeatedly in anger. Okay, very good. Luo Hao, I'll give you a chance. You can explain why I want to give them face." God Emperor Mo Long will have to delay time anyway, waiting for Deluo Jiadozi to get the bait. And just play with it. I've heard it a long time ago. People in big dreams are like lunatics, and he only saw today why those people had to avoid them. Explanation: Luo Hao was overjoyed and secretly said that the Emperor Mo Long was absolutely dazzled by these two idiots in front of him and wanted him to humiliate each other. God Emperor Mo Long nodded and said, "Yes, explain to me why I want to give them face." "For the alliance." Luo Hao cautiously probed. God Emperor Mo Long shook his head and said angrily, "No, think about it again. It won't be for me." Luo Hao laughed at himself. "Give you one last chance and explain it to them." Luo Hao fell into deep thought this time, and he really thought about it. This is a good opportunity to delay time, and of course he should take it well. The two of the Dream Clan were a bit untenable. Divine Emperor, Mo Long, if it doesn't do anything, I and Junior Sister will leave first. After the Damon clan man finished speaking, he took the Junior Sister and prepared to leave. Sister, let's go. Go. God Emperor, Mo Long waved his hand, and the heavenly enchantment spilled down, blocking her retreat, and smiled lightly. Don't worry, don't you want face? I'll give it to you. Luo Hao, have you figured it out? God Emperor, Mo Long said calmly. I figured it out. Luo Hao nodded. His face turned cold. His eyes looked at the two people of the Dream Clan with murderous intent in his eyes. Remember, it's not that God Emperor Malong doesn't give you face. It's you idiots don't deserve to kill me. Boom. Although the body was seriously injured, it was enough to deal with these two idiots. Mo Long, I didn't expect you to be so despicable. You would just show up if you didn't show your face, and let the villain Luo Hao deal with us. The big dream girl yelled while retreating. Jian Wushuang, who was hiding in the void, couldn't listen anymore. If it weren't for these two fools to interfere with him, he might have brought God Emperor Malong and Luo Hao into the big formation. He could see that Luo Hao had the ability to quickly solve the two big dreams, but in order to delay the time, he fought back and forth with the two idiots of the Big Dream Clan. After this drag-on, his plan could not be carried out at all. With a flash of figure, he appeared directly on the two Dream Clan, swept the spear in a semicircle in his hand, and directly swept them back tens of thousands of miles. Two idiots! Jian Wushuang turned his head and cursed, then looked at Luo Hao. Brother Luo Hao, I'm late. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Luo Hao couldn't help but tilted his head to look at Jian Wushuang. If it weren't for God Emperor Mo Long, he would have liked to go up and choke Jian Wushuang immediately. After finally finding a reason to delay the time, it was now broken by Jian Wushuang. Here is another one. God Emperor Mo Long was a little skeptical of life. Didn't these weak, ninth-rank Dayan immortals all fled? How far they were when they met this kind of scene? The rank 9 Dayan immortal, who didn't even dare to watch the battle, was now jumping up and down in front of him to find his death. This was the first time he had encountered him in Primordial Star. Why, you are also here to ask for face. God Emperor Mo Long said indifferently, not in a hurry. Jian Wushuang put away his spear, held an illusory long sword in his hand, and said with a serious face, Your Majesty, Brother Luo Hao and I have a life-and-death relationship. I have to come to help. I hope to understand. As soon as his words fell, Luo Hao was stunned. These one by one, do you make fun of him? In a moment, two idiots came to ask God Emperor Mo Long to seek face and kill him. After a while, there was another person who wanted to rescue him from the God Emperor Malong. This time, he was really confused about the situation. God Emperor Mo Long looked at Jian Wushuang with interest, nodded, and said, Jian Wushuang, I know you. The two Damon clan, who were overturned in the distance, were still a little unwilling to give up. At this time, they also recognized Jian Wushuang, and both had seen them in Qishui Hall. The Tongtian Buddha, Lord, is powerful, but they have seen it with their own eyes. So some of the great Yen immortals in the Tongtian Buddha realm, they can remember more or less about it. This Jian Wushuang gave them the feeling that he was an ordinary Dayan immortal in the 9th rank consummation. He was not chased by Luo Hao at first. How could he come to rescue Luo Hao? Under the recommendation, Mimi Reading Gap is really good. It is worth installing one for book friends, and Android and Apple mobile phones support it. Not only was the two of them puzzled, Luo Hao himself didn't know why Jian Wushuang turned around and came back to save him. It's my honor to remember Your Majesty. Jian Wushuang was very humble. He didn't want to provoke the Malong God Emperor. If he could not anger the other party, both of them had been brought into the big formation. It couldn't be better. In the outside world, he is at best comparable to the ninth rank consummation. Neither of these two are opponents, but if he enters the big formation, he will have confidence. Well, you are very good. Can you match rank 9 when you are in rank 3 Dian Immortal? Now, rank 6, I am afraid that you have the strength of ordinary rank 9 consummation. God Emperor Mo Long clearly remembered that Jian Wushuang, who performed astonishingly on the Cosmos Gods and Demons list, ranked the 3rd rank Dian Immortal at 160 million, and the 6th rank Dian Immortal ranked at the top 100 million. Control the existence of the ultimate way. What? He is rank 6 Immortal. The Dream Clan man standing in the distance said in surprise, Rank 6 can be comparable to rank 9 consummation. How is this possible? There are so many strong people in the universe, and there are only a few Jian Wushuang who pay attention to them. In addition to paying attention to their own rankings, most of the strong people keep in mind those peerless talents that rank in the top 1,000 in the universe. Luo Hao stood in the air and turned his head to look at the two of the Dream Clan, and said coldly, Idiot, you can't do it doesn't mean that others can't. Then his voice softened. Brother Wushuang should be the absolute master, who has mastered the ultimate way. Tianjiao, I don't think Brother Wushuang actually has this hand. Now he can be matched with rank 9 consummation with just rank 6, and I am afraid that he will be a half-step emperor when the realm Dao reaches rank 9 consummation. The Dream Clan girl sneered. Half-step emperor, after all, is only half-step emperor. My ancestor is the real emperor. Pay attention to the public account. Book Friends Base Camp. Pay attention to send cash and coins. Humph. Luo Hao snorted coldly and cursed, You have a monarch in the great dream realm, right? I don't have a monarch in the great Luo realm. Brother Mo Long's father is not an emperor. There is no emperor in the world of Tongtian Buddhism where Brother Wushuang is located. Have you forgotten the power of Tongtian Buddha? That's not better than your ancestors. Chapter 51:76. What Luo Hao said was not wrong. Everyone who was really there was no emperor behind him. The Meng Dao ancestor is indeed very strong. He can be ranked in the top 100 in the entire universe in the 5 major regions of the universe, and in the top 20 in the eastern region. Such strength will indeed be respected. However, in the Temple of Qishan, it is personal strength and then the background power. The Great Dream Realm is only relatively famous in the surrounding area, and the power is not the top at all. The Great Dream Dao ancestor is extremely strong, but there are not many emperors under his command. Especially the few 6th-generation disciples of the Great Dream in front of them, who are weak and pitiful, and the 3rd-rank Yuanyuan Dao, 1 turns 9, and 1 turns 9 to complete Dian Immortal. With this strength, are they coming to ask for face? He speaks crazy words and looks down upon Bamboo Emperor. It's almost a matter of life and death. The trial has just begun. This primordial star's big dream world powerhouse was almost wiped out. Now he hasn't learned to keep a low profile and still use the outside world to speak of things. Here, no one cares how strong your ancestors are. Only if you are strong enough will you be respected. There is no such thing as a fart without strength. As the only son of the emperor, God Emperor Mo Long was not the same as being seriously injured by someone. He flees a little bit slower, and he will fall, and he has not seen him move out of his father to scare others. As a strong person, you should have self-knowledge. If you move out of the forces behind you, you will only look down on people and then humiliate you to death. No one in the Temple of Qishan will call how strong your ancestor is. Even if you are the son of a 5th-order emperor, you will be killed. The big dream girl was choked and speechless. In her heart, the Meng Dao ancestor and the Meng realm have always been the core of the universe. How come I met these arrogant people when I first came out of Demeng realm? The man from the Dream Clan lowered his head and was silent. He had already accepted his fate. In the Temple of Chishan, he was completely different from his home world, and no one would take that one anymore. Humph, get out of here. Jian Wushuang couldn't help yelling. These two people are a waste of time. Isn't it okay to live well? If he had to die, how could this Emperor Mo Long have such a good temper? Don't give him her a second time. Junior sister, let's go first. The Damon clan man really couldn't stand it anymore. He started to be a little scared. There was not a good one among the few people present. Jian Wushuang can abuse the two of them at will at rank 6. If he doesn't leave, I'm afraid that Jia Jiu Primitive Star, there will be no more powerful Dream Clan. The big dream girl, her face flushed with anger, didn't care about it at this time. She yelled, Brother Young, how have you changed? We are disciples of the big dream. You disappointed me too much. The Dream Clan man glared at her and then said in a low voice, Junior sister. As he spoke, he pulled the arm of the Dream Clan girl and pulled back. What are you doing? The big dream girl broke free of her senior brother's hand and shouted, You don't want to avenge the senior sister and the others. Snapped. A crisp slap in the face sounded, and the Dream Clan man's face was dark, and without waiting for the girl's response, another slap in the face hit his left cheek. The big dream girl stood in the air, staring blankly at the unfamiliar brother in front of her, her little red face, and two clearly visible slap prints. Her eyes were red and she almost started to cry, but now she was scared when she saw the black-faced brother, and she was so scared that she didn't dare to cry. Everyone, it's abrupt. Let's go now. Yanli, a man from the Dream Clan, wrapped the silly junior sister, ready to leave. Luo Hao, who was watching the play, changed his attention at this time. These two idiots are leaving now, and the remaining 3 of them will inevitably have a fierce battle. It's better to leave them behind and delay for a while. After taking care of them, Luo Hao spoke immediately. Come as you want, leave as you want. Do you look down on us? Luo Hao glared at the two, and a sharp blade flew out behind him, blocking the way. God Emperor, Mo Long watched a good show on the side. Since Luo Hao wanted to play, he dared to drag it off. As for Jian Wushuang, while his strength was still weak, he was killed all at once. That is, he only had the strength of rank 9 consummation, which could be destroyed easily and could not threaten him at all. Both of them are waiting. One is waiting for reinforcements. The other is fishing. Jian Wushuang didn't have any reinforcements, and he had to use his own bait for fishing. He couldn't keep going, but he didn't worry about what these two meant. He could only wait without the slightest solution. Please help me. Mimi Reading app can steal book tickets like stealing food. Come steal the book tickets of your friends and vote for me. The more anxious he is, the more flaws will be leaked, but it will be difficult for Luo Hao and the other to doubt it. I don't know how to let us go. The Damon clan man changed his normal at this time. No more arrogance in his chest. Luo Hao first glanced at the god Emperor Mo Long, and when he found that he was not in a hurry, he continued, It's okay to let you go, but it would be too much for him to kneel down and call his majesty even after seeing someone like Brother Mo Long up. You know what I mean? The Dream Clan man nodded. Understood, call. His figure dropped rapidly, landed on a fairly flat stone surface, and knelt down with his knees bent. Big Dream Clan, little monk, Yang Yuan pays homage to His Majesty the Emperor. Monk of the Dream Clan, Yang Yuan buried his head between his knees, his body trembling, not because of fear, but because of the great shame at this time, which gave him a strong heart. He wants to become stronger, become extremely powerful, so that everyone dare not look down on him. At this time, He was completely aware of the teachings of the ancestors, but unfortunately he did not wake up at that time. That's the truth. Luo Hao smiled lightly. Now you can roll. Thank you. Yang Yuan slowly got up and took the junior sister directly through the clouds, and soon disappeared. This humiliation will change Yang Yuan's life, but when he is strong enough, he will never find Luo Hao again. With Mo Long God Emperor, Jian Wushuang took a breath, and it was finally over. Now it's time for him to perform. Brother Luo Hao, we should leave too. Jian Wushuang looked at Luo Hao with great interest, and a smile appeared. The three of them were surrounded by triangles, each of which stretched thousands of miles apart. This distance is not too far. If you do it, you can see it in an instant. Pay attention to the public account. Book Friends Base Camp. Pay attention to send cash and coins. Yes. Luo Hao smiled and rushed towards Jian Wushuang in an instant. Boy, do you really think that Brother Malong and I are both fools? Just when Jian Wushuang arrived, he noticed something was wrong, and a rank 6 Dayan immortal suddenly came out to rescue him, or rescued him from the hands of God Emperor Malong. This is simply stupid than the two members of the Dream Clan. But Jian Wushuang was not a fool at all, and he definitely had his own purpose in doing this at this time. How could he and Mo Long be the peak-level Dayan Immortal? How could it be possible for a rank 6 Dayan Immortal to take advantage of the loopholes? Die to me! The flying blade struck instantly. Jian Wushuang's figure flashed and fled towards the canyon. Chapter 5177. Sure enough, none of the strong people at Dayan Immortal Peak were fools, and when things were revealed, he could only escape first. Fortunately, in terms of speed, he always had confidence. Otherwise, he would not dare to take such a big risk. Divine Emperor Malong, Luo Hao is clearly delaying time. It's better to join hands to kill him first. Jian Wushuang was still a little unwilling to persuade the divine Emperor Malong, who was about to come behind him, loudly. Jian Wushuang, if you are really an ordinary rank 9, I am too lazy to move you. If you want to blame, you shouldn't master the ultimate way. Your threat is much stronger than Luo Hao. Divine Emperor Mo Long was extremely fast, and he surpassed Luo Hao in an instant and came straight to Jian Wushuang. An immortal who masters the ultimate way, as long as he doesn't die and has great power training, can reach the half-step emperor level. Now that the Qixin Temple is vigorously cultivated, Jian Wushuang only needs to enter the first 1,000, get the treasures given, and understand the Qixin Dao, and his strength will rise all the way, and soon he will become the Nineth rank Dayan Immortal. The Nineth rank consummation is just an opportunity, not much of a bottleneck. Of course, this kind of half-step emperor's seedlings must be resolved as soon as possible. One less is equal to one less opponent. Although his Tao is considered to be a top-notch Tao, there is still a big gap with the ultimate Tao. This primordial star is confident to be in the top 100, but in the entire universe, he is not ranked at all. There are many treasures, and the combat power is relatively strong. The true potential is not high. Divine Emperor Mo Long was still very excited to be able to kill a future half-step emperor smoothly. In some worlds, there isn't even a single ultimate way, and the entire universe is only a handful of people, and there are not many who can reach the 9th round of consummation. Die to me! Boom! The golden boxing shadow turns into a wandering dragon, rushing towards Jian Wushuang. It's almost. Jian Wushuang desperately shielded toward the canyon. The speed of the dragon swimming behind him was much faster than that of the Emperor Mo Long himself, but Jian Wushuang caught up with the fleeing Jian Wushuang with just a breath. Heart Sword World! Jian Wushuang roared. Stop it for me! The world of swords immediately descended, slowing down the speed of the wandering dragon chasing behind, and then began to disintegrate the origin avenue within the wandering dragon. His ultimate swordsmanship has reached the 6th level, and it is still possible to suppress an 8th level origin avenue. Bang! The dragon's speed slowed down, and the origin avenue contained in the body began to collapse. After all, it was just a faculty performed by the Emperor Malong. Although the mighty power was strong, the origin avenue contained within it was just a part of the separated origin. I want to advertise my creating app. It's really good. It's worth installing. Even Android and Apple phones support it. What? God Emperor Mo Long's figure quickly surpassed the defeated Yulong, and he was surprised that the power of the ultimate way could suppress his origin avenue. Is this the power of the ultimate way? Born to be the emperor? Luo Hao's figure writhed around, bypassing Yulong, but at this moment, he was considering whether to take the opportunity to flee in the opposite direction. Mo Long was the fastest of the three, followed by Jian Wushuang, and finally him. He wanted to escape at this time, and it was not without a chance, as long as Jian Wushuang could stop God Emperor Mo Long from taking 2 breaths, he could escape. It's a pity that he just stood on the wrong team. If he cooperates with Jian Wushuang, he may be pitted, but there is definitely a chance for him. Cooperating with Mo Long after Jian Wushuang's fall, it was his turn. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang's combat power was not strong, but his speed was very fast, and he could barely deal with it for a while. Jian Wushuang's side was getting closer and closer to the canyon. Although the Heart Sword world stopped Yulong, it was unable to play the role of God Emperor Mo Long. Even Luo Hao couldn't affect it. All right, there are still thousands of miles away, and you can reach it with 1 breath. Jian Wushuang's eyes lighted. God Emperor Mo Long felt a little anxious in his heart, always feeling a threat lingering around. Who is it? A strong man in the world of Tongtian Buddhism. He doesn't know much, just a Juyu Daojun, with a strength of the top 500 in the universe, but he is not assigned to this primitive star at all, and the strongest remaining is only the peak Dayan Immortal. The ranking is not as high as him, and he is not afraid at all. As for the Desiyu, as the only son of the emperor, he follows his father and has a wide range of knowledge. He knows that the emperor Zhenwiang of the Desiyu has taken refuge in the Ion Tower, but Jian Wushuang, a Dainxian of the Desiyu, has appeared in the world of Tongtian Buddhism. Among the crowd, it was obvious that Jian Wushuang had already taken refuge in the world of Tongtian Buddhism, and the biggest battle should be the 9th turn consummation Dayan Immortal of the world of Tongtian Buddhism. What is his trump card? God Emperor Mo Long's figure is getting closer and closer to Jian Wushuang, and the threat is getting closer. Who is that threat? It doesn't matter, Okanshu. Come kill him first. God Emperor Mo Long suddenly appeared in his hand with a map of seals, and instantly suppressed the nearby tens of thousands of miles of land. The sky gave birth to a picture of Yin and Yang Town, and the earth fought and turned into a prison in all directions. You can't escape. God Emperor Mo Long yelled angrily, and a majestic arrogance spurted out. The beam of light shot out almost instantly, directly piercing Jian Wushuang's body. Do not! Just 1 step away. Hurry up! Jian Wushuang roared unwillingly in his heart. At the moment when the divine body completely collapsed, the figure flickered again, and the whole person fell into the canyon formation. God Emperor Mo Long leaked his joy, and he could sense that Jian Wushuang's aura was steadily weakening, and he had lost any resistance. Luo Hao, go to the canyon to find Jian Wushuang, and play less tricks. You know my methods. God Emperor Mo Long threatened. The Zhenfeng catalog is an innate treasure that can be fully utilized at the emperor level. Malong's 9th revolution can only cover tens of millions of miles. If there is an emperor's strength, it can spread for hundreds of thousands of miles, and even cover a world, constant pressure. Such a treasure is now in the hands of a 9th rank perfect Dayan Immortal. Luo Hao is envious and jealous. As one of the top 10 emperors of the Deluo realm, he only obtained an ordinary innate treasure after entering the Temple of Qishan. A single attack of average value is the treasure. Even if it is 1,000 pieces, it is not as good as the innate treasure of the town seal catalog. Are you not afraid that I will enter the canyon and join forces with Jian Wushuang to deal with you? Luo Hao stepped on the crescent flying blade, standing side by side with Mo Long. You can give it a try. God Emperor Mo Long said calmly. Luo Hao's threat to him is very small, and it can even be said that there is no threat. His treasures are very restrained from Luo Hao, who is not fast and is not good at close combat. Chapter 5178. In terms of strength, Luo Hao can only maintain the level of the peak Dian Immortal by burning his roots, and his roots are not a concern. Inside the canyon, Jian Wushuang sat cross-legged in the formation. Fortunately, he killed those Dian Immortals and got a lot of pills from them. At this time, he swallowed all his brains, accelerating the recovery of the evacuated strength in his body. With that blow, he almost completely destroyed his divine body and replaced it with a general ultimate way of the Dian Immortal. The first blow would kill him. Fortunately, he mastered the ultimate way. The divine body was 100 times stronger than the ultimate way. The force is stronger than any Dian Immortal, but after that one, his body was broken in an instant, losing a lot of force. Now, to repair the body, one can only use the pill to replenish the strength of the original source. The restore power of the source of the extreme path is very strong, and the body has just been injured, but it has not caused any harm to the source of the source. As long as the origin is not damaged, he can quickly restore the divine body. This is also the advantage of the extreme way and the ultimate way. The origin is extremely powerful, and the ordinary ultimate move can damage the origin very quickly. Having the origin can restore the divine body extremely quickly. This alone makes countless people envy them. One must know that the Emperor Melong's body is on the verge of defeat, and he has spent countless treasures before he can recover within a year. However, this kind of ultimate injury only takes one day, and he has mastered the sword of the ultimate path. Wushuang only needs time for a cup of tea. I need time for a cup of tea. Hui Qing, can you stand it? Jian Wushuang's voice was a little weak, looking at the little novice Hui Qing in front of him. I don't know when Hui Qing's figure became so tall and straight, a long robe holding a brown-red long stick upside down. Under thick eyebrows, the pair of dark eyes are unusually tough, and the aura is several times stronger than before. Hui Qing nodded. Brother Wushuang, don't worry, I will try my best to delay. Hui Qing said with a light smile. Together with Zen, they are best at fighting in formations. As long as it is the ultimate way, there is no weak source. Although he had just broken through rank 9, his combat power was comparable to that of the peak rank 9 perfect Dian Immortal, and he was not weaker than God Emperor Mo Long by virtue of his formation. Hui Qing flashed around, entered the center of the formation, tilted the long stick, and waited for the enemy to come. With just a breath, Luo Hao from the outside world descended into the formation, but he could not feel the existence of the formation at all, only saw the little novice Hui Qing standing on the of the canyon alone. No money to read novels? Give you cash or points, and receive it in one day within a limited time. Follow the public Numberbook Friends base camp. Get it for free. You are Jian Wushuang's backing. Luo Hao smiled contemptuously. The person in front of him felt that he was only at the level of rank 9, and he didn't believe that he could encounter the existence of two ultimate ways in one day. It is not the ultimate way. A 9-ranked Dian Immortal, no matter how strong it can be, it is at best comparable to an ordinary 9-ranked consummation. Qing put away his fierceness. He knew that there was another person from the outside world, and he had to bring that person over. He had to leak the flaw first, so that the outside god, Emperor Mo Long, could see that as long as both of them entered the formation, he would activate the infinite formation, trapping the other party and slowly consuming it. If there is no one else, then you are ready to die. Luo Hao didn't notice any danger at all, so he acted first, and the flying blade under his feet instantly killed Xiang Huiqing. Moon Shadow! As soon as he came up, he used his full strength. He wanted to see how the strength of the monk, head of the heavenly Buddha realm, was. If the strength of the monk head was the same as he guessed, he would kill it and find a way out. If you can take this trick from him, he will turn directly and cooperate with the other party. Jian Wushuang masters the ultimate way and recovers very quickly. The two of them only need to drag the Emperor Maolong when they cooperate and wait for Jian Wushuang's strength to recover. After a long time, the three of them work together to contend, and there is still a way to survive. Luo Hao's little abacus crackled, but he didn't know that the Emperor Maolong from outside had already penetrated everything. Snapped! Huiqing stomped on the ground with both feet, and his figure instantly jumped to the sky, and the moon shadow directly cut a 10,000-strand high mountain into two. This was just a moon shadow, and the countless moon shadows that followed made Huiqing unable to hide. Countless moon shadows are broken by one stick. The red-brown long stick was towering thousands of battles, smashing into the moon shadow. Countless moon blades hit the brown long stick, but they couldn't cause any damage, just like an ice blade falling to the ground, shattered by the smash. Thousands of long sticks swept the entire canyon and scattered countless moon shadows. Luo Hao flew away from the canyon before avoiding the terrifying stick. A little bit of strength. Luo Hao smiled back and rushed out from the crescent blade under his feet. The buzzing through the sky pierced people's eardrums. Huiqing gritted her teeth, and the long stick returned to its original size. With the dripping stick method, it barely blocked the crescent blade. The crescent blade of the innate treasure violently collided with the long stick itself several times. Luo Hao, who was manipulating the blade in the distance, frowned and said sadly, "Is the Nineth rank Dayan immortal already carrying the innate treasure? I originally thought that in many big worlds, as the emperor of the higher worlds, he could get a congenital treasure by entering the temple of Qishan, which was already regarded as very much valued. But now, I first met the abnormality of the Emperor Mo Long. There are many scary treasures, much more than the treasures of the general second-order emperors. www.novel.com. There are several top innate treasures alone. There are more ordinary innate treasures. Right now, the monk head of the heavenly Buddha realm also possesses the innate treasure, and the power that he only reveals is much stronger than his moon-shaped blade. If it hadn't been for this red-brown stick, it would have been impossible to block him for so long. An innate treasure can make a rank 9 Dayan immortal comparable to the top rank 9 Dayan immortal. This is the charm of the supreme treasure. Just like the demon lord of wind and rain, he masters the eternal treasure, possesses the peak emperor's combat power, and constantly pressures all enemies. Qishui Walker still pulls a large group of powerful people to negotiate with the wind and rain demon lord. If those forces do not hold together, the wind and rain demon lord can suppress any top power by relying on the Ion Tower. Even other peak forces do not necessarily have the eternal treasure. After all, the strength of the eternal treasure can affect the combat power of a fifth-order emperor. Such treasures are rare among fifth-order emperors, and few emperors bestow them on his disciples. Unless it does not affect its own combat power, it will be granted. Just like the ruler of the Daluo realm, he has a set of best innate treasures, and the remaining treasures seem insignificant. This time the temple of the gods is opened, the treasure house is opened, and half of the treasures are given to his men. Of course, most of them were given to the emperor. After all, the emperor was the main core of this battle. Those other emperors who do not like it will be given to them, these so-called emperor heirs. In addition to the top 10 emperors in the Daluo realm, there are also some chief disciples of the emperors who will also get the innate treasure. Their top 10 emperors were only cultivated under the ruler of the great Luo realm. Although they were noble on the surface, they were actually inferior to the direct disciples of those emperors in terms of treasures, especially the so-called emperor, like the Emperor Mo Long, who can't look down on them at all. Chapter 51, 79. He is the real son of the emperor, and he is also the only son. After the success of the emperor and the monarch, the bloodline is very powerful, and it is difficult to give birth to another heir. Just such an only son, very fond of the only son, and even a third of the world. The division of one domain was given to Mo Long to manage, satisfying his emperor's hobby. In terms of talent, God Emperor Mo Long was really ordinary, but his father's bloodline was strong, allowing him to realize the powerful Tao of origin after all, and then he had many secret treasures around him to gain peak combat power. But these are all foreign objects. All Dayan immortals are pursuing Hadao, and Hadao is the only one. Only if you succeed in harmony and become the emperor can you truly escape the universe and become the strongest. This is the Tao that Luo Hao pursues. Now he can't fall. Even if he is dead, he will die in the process of harmony. Your Excellency, can we talk? Luo Hao said, although Hui Qing's strength is not as strong as him, he still has the strength of an ordinary top-level Dayan immortal. With Jian Wushuang and their 3 burning origins, they still have the hope to compete against God Emperor Mo Long. As long as they persist for a few hours, their Daluo realm, the chief emperor, can arrive. The one who should be desperate by then is God Emperor Mo Long. Hui Qing froze for a moment and said cautiously, "How do you want to talk?" "Cooperation." The two of them fought fiercely on the surface, but secretly it was the Emperor Mo Long who was plotting the outside world. Jian Wushuang crossed his knees in the cave, ignorant of the struggles outside. Essence mobilizes the power of the whole body and constantly repairs the damaged divine body. From the outside, the speed of the divine Bodhi's repair is visible to the naked eye, and this speed is unheard of in the entire universe. It's almost, I don't know if Hui Qing will stand it. Jian Wushuang was a little anxious at this time. I glanced at the floating identity token in my mind. Trial, Jian Wushuang record, 400,000 rank, 4,786 trial time, 3 years trial period. 30 years, there are still more than 20 years to go. Although I am not in a hurry, it will be difficult for us to have such an opportunity in the future. If the 2 top 1,000 strong players can keep them, both he and Hui Qing will be ranked, can enter the first 1,000, and can maintain until the end of the trial. This is an opportunity once and for all, and we must not let it go easily. A glance at the rankings of God Emperor Ma Long and Luo Hao, one is more than 500, and the other is more than 900. According to Luo Hao's words, this kind of powerhouse is basically not near the mountains, and most of them are fighting on those main continents. Now, although the primordial star's Dayan has fallen by 30%, there are still 1 million left, so they really dare to fight. Yes, I am afraid it will be tens of thousands. Most of the other Dayan immortals who knew they had no chance were hidden in some mountains. 70% of the primordial star's boundaries are mountains, 20% are deep pits left by lakes, and another 10% are continents. This boundary is very small for Dayan Immortal, and you can meet the digit 9 Rend Consummation Dayan Immortal by just swinging around. There are even groups of forces clinging together, sweeping the quartet, and killing the lone travelers. In that dangerous zone, it takes too many battles to rush into the first 1,000. His strength can touch the top Dynamortal at most, and it is only a little faster. On the mainland, his speed will no longer be an advantage because there are too many powerhouses, and under chase and interception, he can't use his speed advantage at all. Now the only opportunity is right in front of him, and he has to grasp it firmly. Call, recovering faster than the last time. Jian Wushuang slowly got up. This time he escaped from the dead, which made him strengthen a lot, and his thought power was much stronger than before. A pitch-black spear burst out from the cave, piercing the entire mountain peak with an indispensable momentum, and went straight to the Emperor Malong standing proudly in the sky. Mo Long turned slightly and grabbed the spear that was passing in front of his eyes. He didn't even get hurt. Could that breath come out of disguise? God, Emperor Mo Long was a little surprised. He knew that Luo Hao went down and was stopped by Hui Qing. Since Luo Hao went down, he didn't feel the sense of crisis anymore. This also made him very strange. Now Jian Wushuang suddenly came out again, and it didn't seem to be at all injured. Maybe I was worrying too much. Mo Long muttered to himself, his figure suddenly descending into the depths of the canyon. Jian Wushuang also walked out of the cave here. Mo Long, you are dead today. There was a cold light in Jian Wu's eyes. After planning for a long time, these two people finally came in. Hui Qing, start the big array. Hui Qing, who was still fighting with Luo Hao, leaked a smile, and this time directly said to Luo Hao loudly, "Now let's say goodbye." What? Luo Hao was stunned for a moment. What does this mean? Didn't you just talk about it well? Looking at a very honest monk. Just run as you say. Before he could react, the entire canyon flew into sand and rocks, and the world revolved. The big formation changed around. Luo Hao, who was originally in an open area, suddenly appeared on a hillside. The sky above his head suddenly appeared under his feet, but the sacred mountain of Wanzhong appeared above his head. A huge pressure momentarily. Pouring. Mo Long was also shocked. How can there be a big formation in this place? He has been staring at Luo Hao and the monk head. It's impossible for them to arrange the formation in such a short time. Mo Long was also instantly moved to another boundary. Luo Hao. Mo Long's face was gloomy. Mo Long. Luo Hao's expression was also very ugly. The two of them glanced at each other and instantly understood that they were overcast by Jian Wushuang. That threat was gradually growing, and Mo Long's heart sank. Jian Wushuang held an ordinary long sword upside down and appeared in front of the two in an instant, and Hui Qing appeared with him. "Brother Luo Hao, let's help you." Jian Wushuang smiled lightly. Hui Qing also nodded. After hearing this, God Emperor Mo Long hurriedly backed away and distanced himself from Luo Hao. The big formation has weakened his strength by 30%. He is now the peak of the ordinary level, Dynamortal. Once Luo Hao burns his origin, he can be equal to him. Although he still has some treasures and whole cards, he is now a pair. 3. Dare not be careless. Malong God Emperor. Luo Hao opened his mouth, looked at Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing again, and finally exhaled deeply and shouted, "Your death date is here." Although it was just a breath, he had already thought about it countless times in his heart. Instead of being a dog for Mo Long, there was a risk of being killed in the end. It was better to cooperate with Jian Wushuang to deal with Mo Long. In his opinion, Jian Wushuang and the others are average. Even with the big formation, the three of them can at best contend with Mo Long. As long as there is a delay, the chief emperor of the big Luo world will be able to arrive. The initiative is in his hands. Moreover, It can also take the opportunity to weaken Mo Long's strength, waiting for the other emperors in the clan to come over, just to take advantage of the fisherman's profit. This is the best policy. Chapter 5180. Brother Wushuang, today we join hands to kill Ma Long and share Ma Long's record together. Luo Hao said sternly. Standing far away, Mo Longqi's teeth tickled. This time he was careless, and he fell on Jian Wu's hands. Jian Wushuang, don't blame me for not reminding you. The other emperors of the Daluo realm are rushing here. If you cooperate with Luo Hao against me, you will only let them reap the benefits of the fishermen. Emboldened, if you can avoid this battle, you can avoid it. In case this great formation really hurts him, it will be very troublesome to deal with the other emperors of the Daluo realm. Jian Wushuang shook his head, looking like I didn't believe it, and said coldly, "Stop talking nonsense, do it." Hui Qing, mobilize the formation and loosen the shackles on Luo Hao. This person is of great use. After Jian Wushuang finished speaking, he spoke to Hui Qing. Kill. Luo Hao's body became lighter. He lost his sense of restraint, and he was overjoyed. At the moment, he was the first to rush to the Emperor Ma Long, and Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing naturally followed. 3 people besieged. Luo Hao not only did not reduce his strength in the big formation at this time, but because of the strength of the big formation, he was also improved. After a while, the strength can instantly be comparable to the peak Dian Immortal, and one person can entangle the God Emperor Ma Long. The crescent blade slashed across the chest of God Emperor Ma Long again, and before he could react, Hui Qing made a horizontal pick from behind, slamming Ma Long into the mountain. Jian Wushuang understands the ultimate kendo. He is the master of the sword. His figure flashes. His eyes are full of blood. He splits several swords in succession. Although this long sword is only an ordinary treasure, but it has the blessing of the ultimate kendo, its power is still able to threaten God Emperor Ma Long. Puff! Under the siege of the 3 people, God Emperor Mo Long was somewhat unsupported. He did not expect that this great formation could not only suppress his strength, but also that the control of the formation could separate the power of the great formation, allowing Jian Wushuang and others to be blessed. This kind of complex formation cannot be arranged every 3 to 5 years, and this type of formation is not available to ordinary people. There is also a formation in his kingdom of God. It was the formation that his father paid a lot of money to. He also knew at the time that the emperor-level formations were arranged by the emperor. They were basically not spread, and they could only buy ready-made ones. For example, a certain emperor refines a formation method. As long as it is not a world-class formation method, it can be put away at will. That type of formation method is extremely useful to the emperor, and the price is very expensive. Some weak emperors, if they can't hire the master of the formation, they will buy a movable formation and place it in their dojo to suppress Yanli. If the formation in the canyon is movable, the arrangement is much simpler. Mo Long's brows twitched, and he turned to Hui Qing and said in his heart, "It should be the formation of this monk head. As long as the control of the formation is killed, the formation will naturally collapse." A murderous flash in his eyes, and an instant counterattack began. Jian Wushuang sensed Mo Long's thoughts at the moment and hurriedly said, "Hui Qing, go back." A huge picture book of the 8 directions appeared, and Mo Long, who was originally suppressed, took a sigh of relief, and his strength skyrocketed instantly, killing Xiang Hui Qing. Seeing this, Luo Hao naturally understood that the big formation was arranged by Hui Qing, and if Mo Long succeeded at this time, he would give up all his previous work. "Fight! You're dead. All the treasures are mine." Luo Hao roared in his heart. The original power burned again, and the blade in his hand quickly turned. Luo Hao, who was not good at close combat, directly stood in front of Hui Qing, and Mo Long started a hand-to-hand fight. Boom! Looking for death. God Emperor, Mo Long no longer dared to be big, with a strong killing intent in his heart. Originally, I wanted to keep Luo Hao this bait, but now it seems that I don't need to keep it. Ding! The secret treasure at the center of his eyebrows flickered, and the entire divine body of Mo Long's body was soaring. At this moment, the aura in his body was rising, and the entire immeasurable array was shaking. The seal is lifted. An ancient breath erupted from divine Emperor Malong's body, and that power climbed all the way, surpassed the peak of Dian Immortal, and went straight to the limit for consummation. Luo Hao, who was originally full of confidence, was a little dazed. It was too late to retreat, so he could only shout, "Brother Wushuang, come and help me." Jian Wushuang was standing in the distance, watching all this quietly. The Emperor Mo Long has already used his whole cards, and Luo Hao doesn't need to keep it. There was no pity in Hui Qingming Jing's eyes. She just nodded gently. Originally thought that Hui Qing would be a little uncomfortable, but now she has become decisive, and will give up if she gives up. This is different from when he first met. Jian Wushuang secretly decided in his heart that after this time, he was going to separate from Hui Qing. The secret of this person is definitely not smaller than that of him. Both of them are taking the path of the strong. Sooner or later, there will be one day you have to walk on the opposite side. It is better to separate earlier. Temple of Qishan, the highest trial, the original star. Jian Wushuang had a feeling that the appearance of Qishan Temple was not only a secret boost to the original universe. Primal Star is only the first step, and there will be more trials in the future. And I don't know when to leave the Temple of Discord. Behind all this, there must be some kind of connection. Maybe those emperors know it. Maybe even the emperor doesn't know it. The relationship between the Qishan Temple is too great, and Hui Qing once again entered the Tao after the birth of the Qishan Temple, bursting out with super strength. He had to wonder whether this person was the reincarnation of a powerful person. Jian Wushuang sighed. Ever since he left to see you, the entire primitive universe has become bloody from Xiangu Road to the Army of Corpses, and then suddenly grasped the strength of his mind to realize the ultimate way. His consciousness entered the starry sky, and then opened to the Temple of Qishan at the back. Will these be related? It would be great if the old guy Xian Yi was here. This old guy knows this kind of cosmic secrets best. It's a pity that Jian Wushuang has forgotten how many years he hasn't seen him since that time. Judging from his current vision, Xian Yi's strength is still a mystery, able to travel through the universe, wandering around, and not afraid of the existence of Zhen Wuyang, starting as a fifth-order emperor. Such a strong old guy really doesn't think about him all day long, but he just doesn't know if the Qishan Temple is born this time. That old guy will come to join in the fun. This thought gradually came up and then disappeared in his mind in an instant. What matters now is how to calculate the death of these two people. It is not the time to think about this. The sudden eruption of God, Emperor Mo Long, caught Luo Hao by surprise, and only two moves caused Luo Hao's divine body to begin to break. Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing didn't have any intention to go up and help, which made Luo Hao very desperate. The two of them were not afraid that he would die. Would Mo Long go to deal with them? Divine Emperor Ma Long, I will cooperate with you, and let me go. Luo Hao couldn't stand it anymore. This time he could feel Divine Emperor Ma Long's killing intent, and he began to be afraid. It was not easy to practice all the way. He didn't want to just fall away. Chapter 5181. Divine Emperor Mo Long, who has already opened the ancient secret treasures, has decided to kill, and now it is difficult to understand his hatred if he does not kill a person. Ha! Stop struggling. Let me fall. Divine Emperor Mo Long almost tore Luo Hao's divine body with a powerful hand cracking his skull. Hello, everyone. Our public account will find gold and coin red envelopes every day, and you can receive them as long as you pay attention. Please seize the opportunity for the last benefit at the end of the year. No public. Luo Hao's body began to drain, and he roared unwillingly, "Emo Long, kill me! I am willing to give you the identity token and all the achievements to you." Boom. The only one who greeted Luo Hao was a heavy punch, without the intention of stopping. Me, puff! A mouthful of blood spurted out. Luo Hao was still not reconciled, and then begged for mercy. "God, Emperor Malong, as long as you let me go, I can join hands with you to kill the emperor of my clan. They have tens of millions of records. I know their weakness." Divine Emperor Emo Long, with undiminished killing intent in his eyes, fists blasted Luo Hao's head violently. "To tell you the truth, the reason why I stayed with you for so long is to seduce you those emperors in the Daluo realm." God Emperor Malong grabbed Luo Hao's neck with one hand and raised a fist with the other hand. Smashed on Luo Hao's face. "You are just a bait, idiot." Luo Hao completely gave up. Today he will die. He began to curse Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing, and the whole person became extremely crazy. The second rank origin is extremely wide, a thick road. Now on the verge of collapse, Luo Hao directly burned the last part of the origin, so that the strength reached the peak, and instantly broke free from the clutches of the Emperor Malong. "Ha! I didn't expect Luo Hao to fall here today. He is a top-level Dayan immortal, with so many allies in this primitive star, but he does not go to the main continent to fight, and hides in this mountain range to hunt down some weak Dayan immortals, which is obviously a pity. Now that he is completely desperate, one can imagine how crazy he is. Ha! In that case, let's die together." The crazy Luo Hao, after throwing away the Emperor Malong, held high the innate treasure and rushed towards Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing. Is this going to explode to the source? God Emperor Emo Long smiled grimly. Luo Hao's blood still remained on the golden glove, slipping drop by drop, which seemed to mean that Luo Hao's life was gradually dissipating. Jian Wushuang, who also had control of the large formation, instantly twisted his body and dissipated in place. It's ridiculous to want to take him to bury him in this big formation. Jian Wushuang was taken aback and secretly said, "Where is Hui Qing?" Just that long distance. There is time to react. Hui Qing is not weak, and she should follow her to teleport away. Although it feels that Hui Qing has changed a lot now. But after all, there is a relationship between life and death, and her figure is back to the original place again in a flash. Luo Hao has fallen. There was no trace of Luo Hao's breath in this world, and it disappeared cleanly. Hui Qing was still standing in the same place, but the long red-brown stick in his hand stretched out, and Luo Hao's innate treasure was hanging above it. Recommend an app comparable to the old version of the book-chasing artifact, can change the source books for all Mimi read. This, Jian Wushuang, was a little stunned. He left for an instant, and Luo Hao fell silently. The divine emperor Emo Long in the distance lifted all the seals of the ancient secret treasures at this time. His divine body instantly increased 10 times, and his strength naturally increased 10 times. However, he only resisted the pressure of the immeasurable array for a moment. It still fell on him. Although his strength was suppressed by nearly 30%, it was increased tenfold later. And now he had the strength of the limit Dayan immortal threshold. If it is outside, he can display the strength of the 9th rank consummation limit, but it is a pity that this big formation has weakened 30% of its strength. Emo Long glanced at Jian Wushuang first, and then stared at Hui Qing fiercely, obviously very jealous. Jian Wushuang understood now. Luo Hao fell into Hui Qing's hands. It's a pity that he didn't see all of this, but was watched by God Emperor Emo Long. He could kill the pinnacle Dayan immortal instantly, or the desperate pinnacle Dayan immortal. How strong should Hui Qing be? Jian Wushuang is simply unacceptable. He is practiced step by step and barely be able to match the top-level Dayan Immortal in the 9th-ranked consummation. Hui Qing first stepped into the Tao, showing the 9th-ranked consummation combat power. After entering the primal star, his strength has become a lot stronger. It is comparable to him, and both have the top combat power of rank 9. But now, he only left for a day, and Hui Qing broke through again, and it seemed that his strength was no longer weaker than that of God Emperor Mo Long, who used the secret treasure, otherwise he wouldn't make the opponent so jealous. Jian Wushuang had to take a deep breath to calm his mood. Hui Qing had his own secret. He couldn't ask too much, and he didn't know how to speak at the moment. Brother Wushuang, I have made a breakthrough recently. I forgot to say hello. Hui Qing seemed to see Jian Wushuang's mind and took the lead to break the silence. Jian Wushuang smiled and shook his head. You're welcome. Everyone's specific strength is very vague. No one will tell anyone how strong he is. It is normal for Hui Qing not to tell him after breaking through. God Emperor Mo Long looked at them like a monster. Jian Wushuang, this fellow Taoist next to you is the head of the monk in the world of Tongtian Buddhism. Divine Emperor Mo Long tentatively asked because of the master of the world. He also paid attention to the strong men of the world of Tongtian Buddhism. Apart from Jiyu Daojun, there are not many that can be seen. The strongest is a top-level Dayan Immortal. How come a limit Dayan Immortal that reaches the heavenly Buddha realm suddenly appeared on this primitive? Jian Wushuang didn't answer. After looking at Hui Qing, he just nodded faintly. Divine Emperor Mo Long recalled carefully, and he clearly wrote down those who were better than him on the list of universe gods and demons in his mind, but he didn't have the slightest information about the person in front of him. The atmosphere in the gorge gradually solidified, full of killing intent. And outside the mountain range, the 3 emperors of Daluo realm gathered together and were flying quickly towards the canyon. Luo, how has fallen? There was a golden halo in the eyes of a burly man. His whole body was tightly wrapped. Only a pair of pale golden eyes leaked out, and his voice also appeared very gloomy. Boom! The 3 speeded up again and went straight to the direction of the canyon. The burly man is the chief emperor of the Daluo realm. His strength is comparable to the ultimate Dayan Immortal. The 2 next to him also have the strength of the peak Dayan Immortal. The 3 of them gather, except for the top few of the original stars. Outside the Taoist monarch, the other strong are not afraid. Divine Emperor Malong was just a peak, and Luo Hao also told them that the strength of Divine Emperor Malong had not recovered, and his divine body was injured. Luo Hao fell in madness, but he didn't tell them that there was a monk head no less than God Emperor Malong. At that time, Luo Hao used people like them as a bargaining chip, and before he died, he never thought about telling these people that there was a peak power. In the great Luo realm, their 10 emperors also fought fiercely with each other. Only now they entered the primordial star and began to cling together. But even if it is a group, it is not easy to run so far to save Luo Hao without being sure. Chapter 5182. The premise is good. For example, God Emperor Mo Long has injuries, a wounded peak, Dayan Immortal, and ranks more than 500. He has a lot of records. It is because of such a piece of fat that they will not hesitate to run. Come so far to save Luo Hao. Now that Luo Hao has fallen, they can only follow the previous induction to find the whereabouts of God Emperor Malong. If you can't find it, then forget it. If you find it, you will kill God Emperor Malong by the name of revenge and divide his record. The top powerhouse among the 3 Dayan Immortals speeds up again. Inside the canyon, the great array is at stake in the chaos and may collapse at any time. The strength of God Emperor Mo Long surpassed the imagination of the 2 of them, and the strength displayed in the big formation could approach the limit of Dian Immortal, if in the outside world. Even if the two of them joined forces, they couldn't compete against Mo Long. Fortunately, they had an infinite array that had been weakening God, Emperor Mo Long, and greatly blessed the two of them to fight against Mo Long. The 9 revolving consummation limit Dian Immortal is very rare in this primordial star. Each of them ranks in the top 100. Except for a few Tao monarchs, they are the strongest existence. After so many years of melee, I haven't heard of a limit Dian Immortal that has fallen. Each of them can hunt on the main continent, and they are not afraid of those united perfect Dian Immortals. No wonder Mo Long was not in a hurry when dealing with Luo Hao. This was his whole card. Jian Wushuang, I don't have much record. Do you really want to force me to do it? Mo Long also noticed that the two of them wanted to keep him this time. Otherwise, Jian Wushuang said coldly, in order to seduce you, I almost fell. How could I let you go? Haha, good. Mo Long's teeth tickled. Even if he desperately killed Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing, he would not get much record. Instead, he might be seriously injured again. Jian Wushuang's strength is good. Even in the big formation, it is not too strong. Hui Qing is different. With the blessing of the big formation, plus the strength of the peak Dian Immortal, it can be in the big formation. Comparable with him. Now that he loses the advantage of strength, he can only turn himself over with the help of treasures. Hui Qing stands tall in the sky, with a long stick in his hand, and his breath is not the master. After the 3 stopped briefly, they fought together again. Boom! Hui Qing stepped out in an instant, and his breath caused countless mountains and rocks around him to tremble and crack, and his whole body almost instantly came to Mo Long's side. Bang! The stick technique is weird and unpredictable. It collided with Mo Long's boxing technique. The two sides lost each other's strength, but they didn't have time to recover, so they fought together again. Jian Wushuang relied on his speed to attack Mo Long's physical weakness. Kill! Jian Wushuang's figure suddenly appeared behind God Emperor Malo, and the long sword cut directly in the middle. Xing's sword intent is extremely fierce, and the terrifying power of the ultimate way is fully displayed. Mo Long's upper body was still fighting Hui Qing in the air, but his lower body had been cut off because of the explosion of the secret treasure. The divine body has increased by more than 10 times, and the damage of the physical body can't hurt him at all, but the physical body is restored in an instant. Jian Wushuang also noticed that the divine emperor Mo Long, whose flesh had reached the perfect level, could break open the flesh with simple moves, but could not harm the total amount of the divine body. Moreover, Mo Long had the most treasured guardian body, and his body was immortal. Fortunately, Hui Qing's cudgel skills are fierce. Every move, every attempt is extremely powerful, only to consume a little Mo Long's divine body. However, the amount of divine body consumed was insignificant to the powerful Mo Long. No, it's too difficult to kill him. Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. A magnificent scene descended, the 5th layer of the heart sword world of the ultimate way. The rise of mental strength and sword intent caused Jian Wushuang's momentum to rise to the sky. Heart sword test. This was the strongest sword, he had realized, when this was the 6th level of the ultimate way to break the mirror. He has no time to create more swordsmanship, and now the strongest sword, with the blessing of the heart and the big formation, is about to reach the peak level. Coupled with the blessing of heart strength, this sword changed the color of the world. Divine Emperor Mo Long, who was fighting Hui Qing's eyes, shrank, his heart trembled, and he secretly said no. The power of that sword was not that strong, but the Tao contained in it made him a little breathless. Bang! 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 Hui Qing's stick technique was so complete that he didn't give Mo Long a chance to get out of his body. When he was distracted, he swung out tens of thousands of sticks in an instant, firmly suppressing the Emperor Mo Long. Every time the long stick hits the flesh, his divine body is damaged. There are tens of thousands of sticks in succession. Because of the distraction, he hasn't prevented a few hits. All of them are smashed firmly on the flesh, corrupted his divine body. Damn it! Mo Long's mouth was already overflowing with golden blood. These are all good, just a small injury. The sword behind him is a cruel move. Yi Jian broke his state of mind, and Yuan also began to tremble at that moment, making him extremely anxious, annoyed, and irritable. Ha ha, Divine Emperor Molong, how do you feel? Jian Wushuang pulled away and looked at Mo Long from a distance. His strongest sword, with the blessing of the big formation, was able to force it. He hurt God Emperor Mo Long, but he was only a rank 6 Dayan immortal. As long as he goes one step further and advances to rank 9, when Yanli ranks 9th, his strength will undergo a qualitative change. Even if there is no big formation at that time, he is not worthy of any peak to Yen. Jian Wushuang, you angered me. God Emperor Mo Long roared. At this moment, he directly ignored Hui Qing's long stick. A dazzling light instantly illuminates the entire canyon. The eye of the beast god. It was the golden eye of the god Emperor Molong. The eye of the beast at this time was completely opened. Its function is not only to make the divine body explode 10 times its power, it also has a terrifying realm. Beast God Phantom. Ouch! An ancient call came out, and an ancient beast appeared behind God Emperor Mo Long. It has a row of white flowers and sharp fangs, a majestic figure, a perfect body. Every inch of bone fits its structure very well, but its huge body and head are very small. It may be because it has no ears. His head looked very round, but the big mouth of the blood basin, but it was extremely hideous, especially when the pale eyes were staring at Jian Wushuang and others. It could affect the monk's state of mind, causing fear in his heart. If the beast god realm dealt with other powerhouses, this alone would be able to scare these weak points to death on the spot. But Jian Wushuang is a cultivator who has mastered his mental power. It is extremely rare in the entire universe. The mental power cultivator Jian Wushuang has seen is also an immeasurable Buddha. Under the recommendation, the reading app one am using recently, Mimi Reading Gap, has many book sources, complete books, and fast update. Controlling his mind, that little power of fear in the beast god domain could not affect him at all. Chapter 51:83. As for Hui Qing, he has realized the Zhanji Dao in the ultimate path, and he is not afraid of this field that affects the state of mind. The way of Zen mechanism is the most suitable ultimate way to enable Hui Qingming to realize the original mind. Anyone who can master the Zen mechanism together will have almost no bottleneck before the 9th revolving consummation. The understanding of the original mind is vain. It is also that He Dao can block their way. If He Dao is successful, I can't imagine how strong a Zen Ji Dao ultimate emperor will be. God Emperor Mo Long also found something wrong. He didn't even notice the change on the faces of Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing. It's impossible. Mo Long was a little mad. This is his strongest support. With the beast god realm, he is not even afraid of extreme Dayan immortal. He can even fight extreme Dayan immortal. Now he is actually facing Jian Wushuang. There is no effect at all with Hui Qing. Jian Wushuang mastered the ultimate way, and the sword intent contained mental strength. It was enough to be able to resist, no matter how the monk head could resist. Could it be that he is also a spiritual practitioner? Mo Long, who is quite knowledgeable, also knows that there are some powerful spiritual practitioners in the universe, but he hasn't heard of any of them in Dying Immortal who can cultivate mind power. Not a spiritual practitioner, but the ultimate way. Suddenly met the two ultimate ways. He doesn't know whether it is good luck or bad luck now. The one with bad luck is the encounter with two perverts, and the good luck is because these two people have not yet grown up. If the two ultimate ways of the ninth round consummation, Dian, immortal, then they would be two half-step emperors. There was a fierce light in Jian Wushuang's eyes, and Mo Long seemed to have run out of cards, and now it was his turn. There are many treasures. Can you do whatever you want? Jian Wushuang sneered, put away the long sword, and waved it out. Today I will let you see what is a domain. Hui Qing moved slightly, looked at Jian Wushuang, and was surprised. Could it be? One thought of the universe. Jian Wushuang shook his right hand outstretched. The Yanli within the tens of millions of miles near the canyon began to churn almost instantly, and a magnificent avenue of origins directly showed a phantom suppressing everything. The immeasurable avenues contained in the big formation began to tremble. The beast god realm that Mo Long was displaying directly began to collapse. When the beast god phantom saw the starry sky of the universe, his pale eyes leaked the color of yearning, but it was defeated in an instant, and it was too late to take the last look. Outside world, the three emperors of Delogia, who were already very close to the gorge, looked at the round enchantment in the distance, and their hearts trembled. Something is wrong. There are strong ones. A surprise flashed in the eyes of the chief emperor. They were worried that they could not find God Emperor Mo Long, but suddenly there was a battle nearby. It seemed that they had the power of the peak Dian Immortal, but Mo Long must have not run away. There are very few peaks in the mountains Dian Immortal, and now that Luo Hao has just fallen, God Emperor Mo Long must have not gone far. He encountered other strong men and fought. The few of them were planning to besiege divine Emperor Malong, but Luo Hao couldn't stand the fall in the middle of the journey. He thought he would run for nothing, but he didn't expect to get to the place, and gave them unexpected joy. Luo Hao fell. In their opinion, even if the mountainside is safer, with the cunning mind of God Emperor Malong, he will definitely leave the hidden aura quickly. They are going to try their luck in case they encounter it. Now it seems that what happened was more perfect than they thought. Mo Long faced up with other strong men, and they could take advantage of the fisherman's profit again. Quick, the chief emperor of the big Luo world, forbearing his excitement. Although they are not far away, they are still afraid of accidents. After all, a Dian immortal who ranks more than 500 and is still injured is a piece of fat. If Mo Long can be killed, all three of them can live in the mountains. Jian Wushuang and the others didn't know that several emperors in the Daluo realm had noticed them, and they were coming at an extremely fast speed. This is the realm. God Emperor Mo Long looked around tens of millions of imaginary universes in disbelief. Do not. The universe is not illusory, but a small real world. Although there is no life, it contains a magnificent road. Here, Jian Wushuang is full of information. The first time he used one thought in the universe was only 1,000,000 miles. At that time, he was able to deal with the perfect Xiang Bingyun with the 3rd rank of strength. Although Xiang Bingyun had just recovered, his strength was not too strong in the 9th revolution of consummation, but the universe at that time was only 1,000,000 miles. Now the scope has been expanded 10 times, but the combat power is definitely not 10 times, but more than 100 times. This is Jian Wushuang's biggest trump card. Nianli Universe, made by one thought, within tens of thousands of miles. I am the only one. This is his dojo, a movable dojo. The increase of the immeasurable array gave him the strength of the top-level Dian Immortal, and the Heart Sword world increased his sword intent to the peak level. However, thinking of the universe made him 10 times more combat power. This is not Mo Long's Eye of the Beast God. It is only when the seal is completely lifted that there are still troubles, and he has strengthened 10 times the divine body, which is truly transformed into actual combat power. It's only 3 times. Yi Nian Universe made Jian Wushuang 10 times stronger, and he became the peak Dian Immortal. The sword intent in the Heart Sword world is even more comparable to the combat power of the ultimate Dian Immortal. Jian Wushuang was suspended in the air. The ordinary supreme sword appeared in his hands. Sword intent rose. Heart Sword world. With the blessing of tens of thousands of miles, the Heart Sword tried in the Heart Sword world, condensing billions of sword energy, and finally formed a huge sword shadow. Call out. Jianing rushed towards Mo Long, but Mo Long could only use the full set of Golden Dragon to madly resist. But the tip of the sword still pierced through his flesh, and an unprecedented slaying air began to devour his divine body, and even the most precious body protector could not be the main gear. Bang! Mo Long endured great pain, only to get rid of the phantom long sword with a single blow. It was just a sword that broke his perfect body and consumed 1,000th of his god. This is only a moment. Hum. Send red envelopes to read the benefits. You have up to 888 cash red envelopes to be drawn. Follow the Weixin public account Book Friend Base Camp to draw red envelopes. The phantom longsword, divided into 9 swords, surrounds God Emperor Maolong. Although the phantom longsword is divided, the power contained in it has not diminished in the slightest. Jian Wushuang's phantom sword, based on the Heart Sword world, is different from the Heart Sword trial. The former is to cooperate with the universe of one mind, and only in the universe of one mind can he condense the phantom sword. The universe of one mind can be manipulated by him at most. 9 phantom swords. Just call it a magic sword test. Jian Wushuang said lightly, with his level of kendo, there are many things that need to be supplemented for the trick that he has created temporarily now. For example, 9 phantom swords can be formed into a sword formation to increase its killing power. But now he doesn't have time to think about it. 9 phantom swords are enough to deal with Mo Long. Hui Qing, stop him. Jian Wushuang's eyes shrank, and he found a scarlet crystal pillar suddenly appeared in Mo Long's hand. He had seen Luo Hao's black crystal pillar and knew how terrifying it was. Chapter 5184. Mo Long owns the Jinfeng catalog, as well as the innate top treasure town Yulo. Both of these treasures have a suppressive effect, and the Jinfeng catalog is like a small mobile formation. He can hide in danger. Jian Wushuang doesn't have any supreme treasure right now, and he has an ordinary supreme treasure longsword in his hand. The Dian Immortals killed are all ordinary rank 9, the strength is average, and there are not many treasures. Since seeing the treasures of God Emperor Maolong, Jian Wushuang's vision has also widened. The treasures he dreamed of before were not taken seriously anymore. Except for the peak treasures, the other treasures were like scrap copper and rotten iron. That scarlet crystal pillar made Jian Wushuang's heart palpitations. This thing is definitely not a good thing. After hearing his words, Hui Qing rushed to stop Mo Long, but it was still too late, and the scarlet crystal pillar was put into the groove on the top of the Zhenyu Tower by the Emperor Mo Long. A ray of blood began to rise, and the scarlet crystal pillar was not the crystal of destruction in Jian Wushuang's imagination. It did not explode, but turned into a stream of blood and poured it on Zhenyu Tower. This water sloped along the top of the Zhenyu Tower, irrigated the entire Zhenyu Tower, and then ran down on the town seal catalog. The blood flowed into the eyes of the 8 squares. A scarlet mist began to rise, and the eyes of God Emperor Mo Long turned red. Under the irrigation of blood water, the catalog of the town's seal has merged with the town's jade building. This is my father's innate treasure in the world. You can witness the power of the blood jade palace, and it is worth it. God Emperor Mo Long did not expect that this is the first step in the trial, so he will be the greatest. The trump card was forced out. If the ancient secret treasure, Eye of the Beast God, is a treasure used to enhance strength, then this blood jade palace is the treasure that his father saved his life. Although the power of the beast god's eye is special, the entire primitive universe does not have the same treasure. It was obtained by his father in the long river of time and space. Although the power of this ancient treasure is special after the Fourth Order Emperor, his father, it won't be used anymore. It was bestowed on him. Few people knew the power of this secret treasure. If they knew the special features, the Third Order Emperor would be crazy about it. At the Emperor level, as long as it is a treasure that can increase the strength of the Emperor, no one will sell it, even if it is sold at a ridiculously high price. The Blood Jade Palace is actually the pinnacle treasure among the congenital treasures, and it is also the most precious palace treasure among the treasures. Back then, Mo Long's father used it to cross the primordial universe, and even went to the Jade Palace of Blood and Blood to drift in the long river of time and space. If it weren't for the Temple of Chishan, he would not give this precious treasure to his son. This kind of treasure is like an adult giving a horse to a 3-year-old child. It is simply a violent thing. Mo Long didn't have the strength to manipulate the Blood Jade Palace. It was his father who condensed his crystal blood to him so that he could use part of the bleeding Jade Palace's power. But these powers are enough for him to keep it secret. Jian Wushuang stared at the Blood Jade Palace. In addition to shock, he was shocked. Divine Emperor Mo Long had taken out several pieces of this kind of treasure that he had never seen before. Mo Long never thought it would be so difficult to kill him a rank 6 Dayan immortal, nor did he expect that in such a favorable time and place, killing a peak powerhouse ranked more than 500 would be so unlucky to meet God Emperor Mo Long. The feeling that the Blood Jade Palace gave him was unshakable. If Divine Emperor Mo Long was sitting in the Blood Jade Palace and fleeing, the Great Formation could not stop him, and his thoughts and the universe would not be able to stop him. It's just a little bit. Jian Wushuang's eyes shrank to the extreme. After working for most of the day, he couldn't find anything. Now he still has to watch Mo Long sit in the Blood Jade Palace and escape. This made Jian Wushuang difficult to accept. Even if his mood was strong, he could see everything, but he still sighed in his heart. After all, Hui Qing's performance was calm. His strength improved quickly, and he already had the strength of the peak Dayan immortal. This time the plan failed, and he could use his strength to kill the other 9 ranks outside to gain a record. Although he has become the rank 9 Dayan immortal now, he can only get 10 times the points, but his strength is better, and he can slaughter a group of 9 ranks perfect Dayan immortal. He has the hope to enter the top 100. After all, he just beheaded. With Luo Hao, he has achieved a large record and has entered the top 1,000. Brother Wushuang, irreversible. Hui Qing has a Zen machine and has some calculations about the development of the situation. The power of the Blood Jade Palace. The two of them are difficult to shake. If they are attacked, they are likely to be backfired. Jian Wushuang was floating in the air, and the 9 long swords were recalled to his side. He didn't speak, but just nodded. The immeasurable array was riddled with holes, and this trick was useless. If Mo Long could really escape, the two of them would have to find another way out. Although it was in the depths of the mountains, such a big movement might have been transmitted to the main continent by those weak rank 9 Dayan immortals. Since the great Luojia left Luo Hao in the mountains, then other forces will inevitably have eyeliners buried deep in the mountains. Observe the movement here. After all, the mountains occupy 90% of the original star's boundary. Why, don't you dare to move me? Mo Long sneered as he sat on the throne. If Jian Wushuang and the others don't attack the Blood Jade Palace, Missouri Long really can't help them. Mo Long's strength simply cannot control the Blood Jade Palace. If he wants the Blood Jade Palace to actively suppress his opponents, he can only let them attack the Blood Jade Palace first. As the pinnacle of innate treasure, the Blood Jade Palace has a self-protection effect. As long as there is a strong attack nearby, a blood shield will automatically rise, which can not only defend the Blood Jade Palace itself, but also issue a blood pillar to kill the Blood Jade Palace. Strong enemy. However, once the power of the Scarlet Crystal Column is exhausted, the blood shield will dissipate. Nothing to say, Mo Long controlled the Blood Jade Palace, constantly rising. The immeasurable array was trembling and scattered by the pillar of blood. Hui Qing presided over the big formation and tried to hold the Blood Jade Palace for a while. This is a superpower ranked in the top 500. If you let him run it this time, you will lose a lot. If you can drag it, you still have to drag it for a while. Although he had killed Luo Hao and entered the top 1,000, it would be too difficult to think that it would be so easy to kill a strong one in the first 1,000 in the future. With a move in my mind, the information of the identity token came into my mind. Trial. Hui Qing Realm. 9 turns die an immortal record. 10. 4 million rank. 716. This ranking is not stable in the top 1,000, let alone in the top 100. He beheaded a Nineth rank perfect Dian Immortal with a record of 100,000, plus Luo Hao's accumulated record of millions. After 10 times, he had a record of tens of millions. There was also a small part that was divided by Mo Long and Jian Wushuang. The two of them also counted as assists and obtained corresponding records based on their own damage ratio. Chapter 5185. The enchantment of the Great Formation began to shatter continuously, sliding down from the sky. Once they lose the blessing and suppression of the big formation, Jian Wushuang and the others will no longer have any chance of winning. Not reconciled. Jian Wushuang stood tall in the sky and could only watch the Blood Jade Palace. After fighting for such a long time, he has only achieved a record of several 100,000. Luo Hao's death has almost nothing to do with him. It is because of the doubling of the rank that he can obtain so many records. If it is a normal match of the same tier, you will get a few thousand records. Now he has not even reached the top 3,000 rankings, let alone 1,000 ahead. Hui Qing, is there no way at all? Hui Qing shook her head. The formation is about to break. We must leave here. As soon as his voice fell, the enchantment of the large formation had completely collapsed, and the eyes of the immeasurable large array were automatically decomposed. Under strong pressure, the big array could not operate and collapsed automatically. Jian Wushuang. There was murderous intent in God Emperor Mo Long's eyes. Now that the big formation has collapsed, he can completely fight again, but now he is a little scared. Even if there is no big formation, he does not dare to go out again. Up. There are so many treasures. You can really do whatever you want. Jian Wushuang's face was pale, and he wanted to refute, but couldn't find a reason. Now, no matter how much he said, God Emperor Mo Long would leave completely, and he himself was busy for nothing. Hui Qing, who killed Luo Hao, is at least now in the top 1,000. As long as she goes out and kills some 9-turn consummation, it will not be a problem to secure the top 1,000 throne within 30 years. As for the top 100, it is not impossible. But he was really miserable. His strength was not as good as he could be, and he could only be comparable to the peak Dayan immortal with a single thought of the universe. In the past 30 years, he could not relax at all to squeeze into the top 1,000. The one who was ranked in the top 1,000, the Master of the Years, is also at the bottom. He can still make a lot of achievements in the early stage of the melee. The more successful the later 9 ranks, the more difficult it will be to kill. If he wants to keep the top 1,000, it will be very difficult. In order to set up the formation, Jian Wushuang lost the most precious early melee, and now it is too difficult to surpass the many powerhouses in front. The Blood Jade Palace continued to rise, although Jian Wushuang couldn't stop him, although he couldn't get out of the universe for the time being, so he could only watch it. God Emperor Mo Long looked at Jian Wushuang's green face, laughed wildly, and then drove the Blood Jade Palace and left directly. Let's go too. Jian Wushuang sighed, just about to put away a thought of the universe, but was stopped by Hui Qing. Brother Wushuang, there is a turnaround. Boom. The Blood Jade Palace, which was already close to the edge of Enian universe, was suddenly smashed out of millions of miles by a force of destruction. The god Emperor Molong, who had just left, slipped past Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing's eyes in an instant. At the same time, in Enian universe, 3 more peak powers appeared. It was the 3 emperors of the Daluo world. Damn it, what kind of treasure is this? It's actually backlashing my origin avenue. The chief emperor of the Daluo world condensed his brows. When they first appeared, they happened to see Mo Long, who was driving the Blood Jade Palace, and wanted to escape. Naturally, they refused to let it go. After 1,000,000 miles away, the chief of the great Luo realm burst out of his hand with a ruining spear. On the blood shield of the Blood Jade Palace, although he stopped the Blood Jade Palace, he was also affected by the Scarlet Power, and the mist began to invade his origin avenue through cause and effect. Miluo, what's going on? The 2 emperors next to them found that something was wrong and asked quickly. The 2 of them didn't know the strangeness of the Blood Jade Palace, but they were very jealous of Enian universe. Be careful of Mo Long. Don't do it at will. The chief emperor Miluo endured the pain, and the 3 of them flickered before they came to Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing. Jian Wushuang was overjoyed when he saw the person who came. The leader of the Daluo world. Miluo is the peak Dayan powerhouse. He had met this strong man when he was in Qishui Palace, and the emperor of the Daluo realm was also very powerful, second only to the Tongtian Buddha in order. At that time, he began to pay attention to the emperors of the Daluo realm. And Miluo is one of the best, and he is even more famous as the chief emperor when the emperor sits down. And his strength is also extremely powerful, and he is a strong man second only to the limit Dayan immortal. The contemporary emperors are very young. It is the Dayan Xian who has the hope to advance to the emperor to be registered as the emperor. Like those Dayan Xian who have practiced countless chaos era, they are not qualified to be registered as the emperor because their potential has long been used up. Even with the strength of the ultimate Dayan immortal, it is difficult to succeed in harmony. These emperors are different. They practiced for a short time and are extremely talented. Like these emperors in the Daluo realm, they have not practiced for more than 100 million years. In the eyes of the emperors, they are not yet adult. At this age, this kind of strength has the hope of becoming an emperor in the future. So their status is higher than those of extreme Dayan immortals. After all, they will be the Dayan immortals of Hope Emperor in the future. But this time, because of the opening of the Qishan Temple, those limit Dayan immortals who have no hope for Hadao are paid more attention again. It is said that those old guys are the protagonists this time. They are the emperors. On the contrary, it has not been taken seriously. However, The chief emperor, Miluo of the Daluo realm, was an accident. He has cultivated for 70 million years, and he has the strength comparable to the ultimate Dayan immortal. The emperors also value him very much. In order to enhance his life preservation, he also bestows the innate treasure, armor and origin stars, the two great treasures, one to protect the divine body, and the other to guard the origin. He himself is a master of the origin, who has mastered the path of destruction, and the attack above has long been comparable to the limit Dayan. Hui Qing, be careful of that Miluo. His strength is not weaker than divine emperor Mo Long. Jian Wushuang calmly surfaced, secretly transmitting to Hui Qing. If it is one person, the two of them are not afraid, but now they are the three peak powers. Among them, Miluo is no less than the Emperor Malong. Losing the blessing of the big formation, the strength of the two of them has dropped a lot, and they have lost the means to suppress each other, and it is even worse at this time. Now I ask you too, answer honestly, do you hear me clearly? Miluo suppressed the mist in his mind and raised his head to look at Jian Wushuang. Before Jian Wushuang spoke to answer, the blood jade palace flew out of the ruins of the canyon, and a powerful and domineering voice echoed everywhere. Miluo kid, you really dare to come. God Emperor, Mo Long was itchy teeth now. Luo Hao used to seduce Miluo, but now he has succeeded in seduce, but he hasn't calculated that Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing actually forced him to use the Blood Jade Palace. It is too late for people to arrive now, and if these people can arrive before Luo Hao's fall, he is confident to keep them. Mo Long, last time I spared you, I dare to be rampant. Miluo snorted coldly. The last time he attacked Mo Long, thinking about catching a large sum, he failed to kill Mo Long. He was in that battle. It almost fell. Chapter 5186. The enemy was extremely jealous when they met, and Jian Wushuang began to calculate the situation on the field. As long as the fighting didn't stop, he could profit from it. It's really time for these three to come, but it's not that easy if you want to gain some advantage from the melee among the four top players. Wealth and wealth are in danger, and life and death are the first to let go. Wealth and wealth are the avenue, Jian Wushuang said cautiously. Dear fellow Taoists, I didn't want to fight until I was hiding here. Oh, then you can tell the truth about what you saw. Miluo also saw that Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing were about the same in strength, so it shouldn't be a worry. Divine Emperor Mo Long frowned. Although he was not familiar with Jian Wushuang, he could see that the other party was thinking deeply from the contact he had just received. Our two brothers, as soon as we entered this gorge, we saw that God Malong was fighting Luo Hao. Both of us were weak. We could only cooperate with Brother Luo Hao to fight against God Emperor Malong. Unfortunately, we were still defeated in the end. Brother Luo Hao also fell. Jian Wushuang said very sincerely, and his voice also revealed his hatred for God Emperor Malong. Shenshin Miluo nodded and said calmly, "It's almost as I expected." He actually didn't care about this. He just wanted to figure out why. Let's do it. It'll solve them two first. You go and stop Mo Long. Miluo's figure, suddenly violent, said to do it, and then do it. A towering spear pierced the sky, and the destructive power contained in the spear head filled the entire canyon. The sword intent behind Jian Wushuang also rose, and he knew that this group of people were not so easy to flicker, and the 9 phantom swords also exploded and went straight to the Emperor Miluo. The phantom sword test was finally created by the 6th level of the heart sword test based on the ultimate way, which leaked the heart power in the heart sword and evolved into a phantom casting the strongest sword intent today, the phantom sword test. Call out! Call out! Call out! Jian Wushuang retreated, but the 9 phantom swords galloped away in the opposite direction. Help me hold him. Jian Wushuang shouted, "The power of that long spear is too powerful. As long as he gets a trace of it, he may fall on the spot." Fortunately, this is the universe of one mind. His speed is fast enough, with a range of tens of thousands of miles, and any one of his shuttles, he can already be comparable to the limit of Dian Immortal. After speeding up, after barely avoiding the shot, he made a cold sweat on his back. The grind between life and death made Jidao stronger again. The power of thought in my mind rises, and the universe expands again. 11 million miles, 12 million miles, 15 million miles. It's the limit. Jian Wushuang's force of forbearance brought him a sense of oppression, and he ran the phantom sword to stop the Emperor Miluo as much as possible. Hui Qing had arrived at this time. Her brows were slightly lowered, but the long stick outrageously exploded with great power. Without the blessing of the big formation, Hui Qing's strength can only be maintained at the peak level. Meeting Miluo, who is comparable to the extreme Dian Immortal, can't take advantage of it, and even threatens to fall. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang manipulates the phantom sword from a distance. Hui Qing breathed a sigh of relief by continuously attacking Miluo and distracting him. The fighting of the three can be said to perfectly replicate the style of besieging Mo long before, but at that time they had a large formation to gain the upper hand, and now the large formation is ruined. The two of them can only resist the Emperor Miluo, who is comparable to the extreme Dian Immortal. Did not threaten the Emperor Miluo at all. On another battlefield in the distance, two emperors of the Deluo realm, who were several times stronger than Luo Hao, were surrounding the Blood Jade Palace, but they didn't know how to stop them. Suppress him, don't do it yourself. Miluo, who couldn't get away for a while, spoke to the two at this time. The strength of Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing combined with the degree of cooperation shocked Miluo. It was obvious that neither of them were too strong, so why couldn't they defeat each other? Especially with this circular cosmic formation, the longer he stays in it, the more his heart palpitations become. It always feels not that simple. Call. Jian Wushuang's figure flashed and appeared at the top of the universe. Under the fusion of the power of mind and the universe, his strength doubled, but it was too difficult to suppress Miluo. Without the blessing of the formation, he still had the general peak of Dian Immortal. It can be suppressed, but Emperor Miluo's strength is too strong, and he has reached the limit of Dian Immortal's level, and he can't suppress it at all. Unless Jidao and mental strength improve, he can suppress the Emperor Miluo. But Jidao has such a wide road. It means that it can be improved when it is promoted, and it is not something he can see in his mind. It is not a road that he can break through when he wants to break through. Now he can only hope to irrigate all his thought power into the universe of one mind, enhance the power of the universe of one mind, and suppress the Emperor Miluo. As for the other emperors of the great Luo realm, although they can suppress the pinnacle Dian Immortal, the two are dealing with Mo Long at this time, and there is no need to deal with them. Even Jian Wushuang was ready to suppress Mo Long so that he could still force Mo Long to fight. Once his strength was suppressed, the power of the Blood Jade Palace would also be reduced. There is still hope to stop the Blood Jade Palace. Even if he can't stop then, he is releasing water for Miluo to break the Blood Jade Palace. By then, the pressure of the six-man melee, Jian Wushuang, will not be enough. It will be so big. The power of thought in my mind kept filling the universe with a thought. This time the universe was not in its expanding range, but began to shrink instead. There is no way that Jian Wushuang is not strong enough now and can only reduce the scope of the universe to 5 million miles. Although the scope is reduced, the power has been increased tenfold. Several other powerful men instantly noticed Jian Wushuang. God Emperor Malong had seen Jian Wushuang's abilities and immediately shouted, "Go and stop him, idiot!" Before a few people in the Daluo world could react, Jian Wushuang shook his strength, evaporating the sweat on his body, and said weakly, "It's late." Boom! A wave of waves appeared on the universe barrier, which made the bodies of Miluo and Mo Long below tremble, and the whole people felt compressed. How is this possible? Miluo couldn't believe it. He felt that his strength was suppressed, and suppressed a lot, by at least 30%. Mo Long was very familiar with this feeling on his body. There was no surprise at this time. He just sighed. The other two emperors of the great Luo realm did not feel uncomfortable at all, but they could also sense that the strength of Miluo and Mo Long had dropped a lot. This is a great thing for both of them. If the strength of the two powerhouses that are comparable to the limit declines, then it is equivalent to their strength skyrocketing, instantly comparable to the two, and they can compete fairly and justly. The emperor of the Daluo realm didn't accept anyone, and he also had the constraints of the emperor, so he could not attack his own person. Otherwise, Luo Hao would not say that before he fell. Everyone is fighting for themselves. These emperors get the corresponding benefits, and they will naturally be restrained. Chapter 5187. Jian Wushuang was a person who had escaped from big influence. He had no background, and the only person who was directly under his superior was Zhen Wuyang. In the end, he also stood on the wrong team with Zhen Wuyang. He joined the Qishui Palace, and Zhen Wuyang joined the Ion. Now, he has something to do with the world of Tongtian Buddhism. After all, the cause and effect on his body in the future needs to go to the world of Tongtian Buddhism and ask for them. Since the 6th rank of advanced, the causality of killing and tribulation has gradually become larger, although it is still not affected, but before joining the path, this cause and effect of killing and tribulation must be removed. He was able to make friends with the hostile monk head in the great wilderness. This is also regarded as the cosmos love for him. It really is going to be evil with the world of Tongtian Buddhism. He really doesn't know how to solve the cause and effect of his body. Hui Qing masters the ultimate way, and now his combat power is so strong. After becoming a half-step emperor in the future, he will definitely be valued by the world of Tongtian Buddhism, and his status will be very high at that time. Jian Wushuang can also rely on this relationship to ask for help to help him solve the cause and effect of killing and robbery. However, all of this has to wait for the end of the trial of the God of Disorder. The first step of the highest trial, the trial of Primordial Star, has now passed by a 10th, and everything is still very early. Don't know where the emperors are. There are countless Yangtzeans who have been looted there. Their Dian Immortal is just one link. Everything is confusing. Jian Wushuang held his breath and regained his stamina as soon as possible. He had just instilled the power of thought into the universe, which was too much for him now. Fortunately, the Origin Avenue was strong enough to not harm the Origin. Kill! Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows, and the 9 phantoms blessed by power burst out. Comparing with the killing power of the extreme Dian Immortal, he broke through countless rocks and went straight to the Emperor of Miluo. The Emperor Miluo, who had the upper hand, was okay with Hui Qing after his strength was suppressed, but now he still has to stare at Jian Wushuang's sneak attacks, making him embarrassed for a while. Although his treasure fits itself very well, it is far inferior to God Emperor Malong in quality. As far as the treasures in his body now add up, they are not as good as the parts of the Blood Jade Palace controlled by the Emperor Malong. This kind of threat between life and death, he has no whole cards to protect. He can only resist. Don't worry about Mo Long. Kill this little bald donkey for me first. God Emperor Miluo couldn't hold on, and directly called the other 2 emperors for help. But right now, there was an advantage over there. The blood shield had been broken, and although the 2 of them had suffered a little injury, fortunately they were both relatively light, and they couldn't affect their strength. At this time, God Emperor Mo Long had no shelter from the Blood Jade Palace, and was a little embarrassed. 2 full-strength Pique Daanxians besieged him. His situation was worse than that of Emperor Miluo. Mo Long, you will die today, and all the treasures on you will belong to our brothers. Every time Mo Long was seriously injured, the 2 of them attacked more and more frantically, even at the expense of their own injuries, to deal with Mo Long by injury. If they can get the treasure of Emperor Molong, even if they don't make the first 1,000, they will not lose money. The treasure of Emperor Molong will make the emperor's eyes greedy, no matter how powerful the Qixin Temple is, no matter how many benefits. It is impossible to bestow such a treasure on them. The 2 attacked frantically and ignored Miluo's cry. Originally, Miluo was the main force, and the 2 of them were only responsible for containment. Of course, the benefits gained in the end were also the least. After all, the strength of the 2 of them was not as strong as Miluo, but now that one loses and the other grows, the strength of the 2 of them can be comparable to the suppressed Miluo and Mo Long. How could such a desperate opportunity be let go? As for Miluo, they were just lazy. Once Mo Long's treasure was taken, the 2 of them would no longer be afraid of Miluo. Kill him, don't give him a chance to breathe. The 2 separated treasures couldn't suppress the 2 of them at all. Mo Long fled in embarrassment, wanting to escape from the universe, but the Emperor of Daluo Realm did not give him this opportunity at all. Damn, you all deserve to die. Mo Long gritted his teeth and roared, You are all fooled. Once Miluo falls, we all have to die. Go and help Miluo kill Hui Qing. He is the ultimate way, and so is Jian Wushuang. The ultimate way. If you don't go, there will be no chance. Puff! An extremely sharp flywheel tore Mo Long's physical body and directly cut into the divine body, causing great damage to the divine body. Unexpectedly, one stab broke 1% of my divine body. Mo Long was completely mad. These 2 lunatics have already begun to burn their origins. Are they not afraid of leaving behind hidden diseases? Junior brother, I burned a cost source to break 1% of the divine body. His defense is too strong. I will find a chance to seriously injure him and then burn the source, otherwise I can't really change him. The white-haired Emperor of Dalogia, insidiousness leaked in his eyes. Well, you insist on 3 breaths first, and I will give him a cruel one. The young emperor laughed madly. Are the emperors of Daluo Realm like this? Jian Wushuang sneered. The power of his mind was trembling, and now he is the same, burning his mind and mind to bless the universe. We'll see who can't hold it first. Since you are so crazy, I will help you again. Jian Wushuang's thought power moved, using Yin Yen Universe to increase the combat power of the 2 by 30%. This is the limit he has achieved, enhancing the strength of the 2 emperors of Hui Qing and Daluo, and suppressing 2 peak powers who are comparable to the limit Dian Immortal. Ha! Brother, I feel that the origin has been strengthened. Me too. Quickly, taking advantage of the strengthening of the source, kill Mo Long in one fell swoop. Mo Long's lavender skin turned pale in anger, and he was a little unconscious after being beaten. He began to mutter to himself, Idiot! Idiot! All have to die. Countless rotating flywheels were constantly harvesting Mo Long's divine body under the blessing of the source, and he had to burn the source to fight. Miluo reluctantly escaped Jian Wushuang's phantom sword again, grinning with a big mouth and roaring, You mistaken me. Call out. Call out. Call out. After hiding a sword, but 8 swords left, Miluo shouted frantically, and several phantom swords filled his body. It made him miserable. Not only was the divine body damaged, but even the origin began to be consumed. Jian Wushuang's figure approached, his mind moved, and the 9 phantom swords were pulled out in an instant. Not only were they scarlet blood, but they were also tainted with a lot of origin chi. At the moment it was pulled out, the thought power contained in the phantom sword began to crazily devour the original power above. Jian Wushuang was overjoyed. His mind moved. Swallow! Wow. Following several wounds, Phantom Sword kept swallowing the original power in Miluo's body, while Jian Wushuang absorbed this original power remotely to replenish himself. He was already seriously exhausted and already injured, but he recovered his peak strength almost instantly. Manipulating the universe was not strenuous, but he became more comfortable. The swallowed power once again let him die and live. Chapter 5188. This plan is close to perfection, united by all, invincible, and me. Kill. The swallowed power made Jian Wushuang extremely crazy, and his strength continued to rise. Ah, 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 ah. Miluo kept roaring while holding the donkey. His origin was being swallowed, which made him extremely painful. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Huiqing's long stick round, a stick that could shake the world, smashed it on Miluo's head. Bang! Miluo, floating in the sky, was driven into the ground, sinking deep into the pit of Baizhang. Jian Wushuang and Huiqing refused to give up and landed directly in the big hole smashed by Miluo. The wound that had healed was once again broken open by the phantom sword and continuously pierced into Miluo's origin avenue. As long as there was a gap, the 9 phantom swords would swallow the origin power of Miluo. An ordinary second-rank avenue. There is still no avenue before Hadao. It can't resist Jian Wushuang's swallowing, and he can swallow even the incomplete Emperor's avenue, let alone Miluo's own trail. "I'm fighting with you." Miluo stood up hard. His body was a little rickety, and his head was slightly lowered and lifted up. He is now even more desperate than Emo Long. Since his origin was damaged and swallowed, his combat power has been declining, let alone Jian Wushuang. And now Huiqing can kill him casually. As a strong man, the chief emperor of a higher world, his Miluo must not kneel to death. Although he didn't like the other emperors, and even fought in secret, he still tilted his head, glanced at them, and said only 2 words, "Go." Then his whole body turned into a dazzling light. Huiqing retreated quickly, while Jian Wushuang rushed forward desperately, shouting, "No!" The source of beauty. It should not be self-destructive. Jian Wushuang was like a young girl. He was very disappointed when he saw a withered flower. Such a delicious meal was destroyed. The fall of Dian Immortal is too far from the Emperor, and it is impossible to form the Emperor, but it contains a lot of original power in the air. Looking at the original aura in the air, Jian Wushuang did not let it go, controlling his hands, and began to swallow it. The power of these origins is only 1/10 of Miluo's, too little. If Miluo does not self-destruct the origin, he can swallow more, and the more he swallows, the stronger his strength will be. Jian Wushuang can now feel that even if he doesn't use Yin Universe, he has the top level of rank 9 strength. Once he uses Yin Universe, he has real peak combat power, and he can reach the limit with the magic sword. Jian Wushuang, who was enjoying the power of his original source, couldn't imagine that his move would be noticed by the supreme master of the Qixin Temple, the true spirit, the origin of the gods. The true spirit swims in the sea of origin. This is the origin of the universe, not a magnificent pillar anymore, but more like a vast ocean. At the initial stage of the highest trial, he was lazy to come forward. Even if it was a trial at the emperor level, he was lazy to look at it more. A canopy that can be compared to a higher world looks inconspicuous in the sea of origin. Falling down from the top, it was divided into blocks of human size through countless sky screens. The true spirit could see anyone in the 3 major trials. This is Zenling's eyes narrowed. The scene just now brought him back to ancient times. He, or it, the current true spirit, is neither human nor ghost, but when he was just born, when he first met his master, he was still just the true spirit of a treasure. But because of the master, he changed from it to him, possessing all the qualities of a practitioner, from a true spirit body to a life. He couldn't forget the old master's explanation. He never dared to forget, even if he had the strength comparable to the Lord of the universe and controlled the entire temple of God. He never dared to forget. Stop him. Swallowing Avenue, the main avenue of the gods, also reached the top level that year. After countless deductions and explorations, he found that this path simply didn't work. Even if it is the ultimate, it is only a drop in the ocean in the long river of time and space. This sun, the road is broken, Zhenling murmured. Not to mention reaching the level of the gods. Even becoming an emperor is difficult. Qixin is a special innate life, and he has mastered the ultimate way at birth, becoming the most dazzling existence in Hanoi in the long time and space. Even he couldn't get through, let alone Jian Wushuang, a small rank 6 Dian immortal. Not only can it go, but this way can go. The fall of Qixin had a great connection with devouring Tao, ultimate Dian immortal. The entire primitive universe is very scarce, although he let the shoaling slaves go to other universes to plunder those ultimate Dian immortals. But the ultimate way is so difficult to succeed in harmony. The primitive universe also took great luck, and only then came out an ultimate emperor. But unfortunately, that ultimate emperor went on the path of destruction, contrary to the old ancestors, and could not inherit the temple of Qixin at all. Can only inherit the position of one at most. The mantle of the Qixin still needs to be selected from the fairy tales and the day fairy tales. The ultimate way is the best. If it doesn't work, it can also be the special second-grade avenue, or the existence of 10,000 ways. This has also been screened down. At least there are tens of thousands of goals, and there will be many people who continue to break through in the trial. Maybe they will master the ultimate way. Those emperors may still think that they are the main force, but they don't know the true spirits look down on them. Well, this little monk is a bit interesting. Zhenling leaked a trace of joy. Interestingly, the potential of this little guy can be ranked in the ranks of A. It is a piece of jade, and the ultimate existence of a Zen machine. I am afraid that the old master will like it. Zhenling stroked his beard, and the more he looked, he liked Huiqin, this little ball donkey. But when I saw Jian Wushuang, he leaked a sense of regret and a trace of disgust. This feeling of disgust is that the disgust's his own way of swallowing. So after seeing someone touch the way of swallowing, Jian Wushuang is also very upset at Jian Wushuang. The true spirit did not know that Jian Wushuang's devouring had something to do with Ji Dao, and it was not the way of devouring Qixin. 13. The true spirit called out, and a rickety old man appeared in the Sea of Origins holding a light lantern. Let the people in the 4 halls take out a little trash from the ancient ruins and throw it on the primordial star, making it a little more difficult for these little guys. Zhenling put his hands back. His eyes left the sky curtain and then looked at the other sky curtains. Also, give these emperors a little excitement. How do I feel they are paddling? Yes. 13 voices were hoarse, and as soon as they fell, they disappeared above the Sea of Origin. The true spirit wandering alone in the Sea of Origin suddenly felt a consciousness passing through the layers of protection of the Temple of Qixin and directly invaded the Sea of Origin. Bold! The true spirit burst into flames instantly. Chapter 5189. The original kindness disappeared instantly, and his face became severe. Old things, why hinder the deity's way? A huge and ugly head hovered above the Sea of Origin. There was darkness in his hollow eyes, and his entire head was bumpy, exuding an evil aura. Zhenling saw the incoming person clearly and snorted coldly. This is the master's account. I will do it naturally. I don't care who is blocking the way. You. Two black mists burst from the ugly head nostrils and roared, "Don't forget, I am a part of the gods. I was once your master's road." Zhenling sneered. A avenue driven away by the master dare to say that it is part of the gods. Although he said so, he knew the power of devouring Tao. He just noticed the devouring Tao of Jian Wushuang, and now it turned into the devouring Tao of the Forbidden Demon Lord, and he came to the Temple of Qishan. I am afraid there is some coincidence in this. Humph, that old man doesn't know how strong I am. He is blind. If he hadn't stripped me away, how could he have fallen? The ugly big head roared, "Shut up, master, but you can be insulted by this filthy thing. If you don't leave, I will suppress your clone in the Temple of Forbidden God, and tortured forever." Zhenling was angry. Other things are easy to say, but don't insult the gods. This is his bottom line. When the evil head saw the old guy getting angry, he was taken aback for a while, knowing that he couldn't get any bargain here, and he began to collapse on himself. Before the collapse, he was not reconciled to let out the cruel words, "Wait, I will break the seal one day, devour the primitive universe, and restore the glory of devouring Avenue." Ha ha ha. The true spirit sneered, extremely disdainfully. "You can swallow it, the original universe is not mine, and you don't care about me if you eat yourself." Forbidden Demon Lord, it's just a bug. A bed bug that was removed from his body by his master. How powerful was the master's devouring avenue back then? Swallowing the entire universe without frowning. However, this bug did have the ability to write back then. It swallowed several universes and was finally suppressed by a powerful existence in the primitive universe. Now the seal has begun to collapse, and it seems that existence has also fallen. Zhenling sighed. If Devour Avenue is still there, maybe the owner would really not fall. But at that time the ambiguity was too strong and too arrogant. Devouring the avenue was a scourge, and he had to eliminate it, 1 for himself and 20 for the long river of time and space. The fall of the emperor will form the emperor and produce countless ghosts, which can destroy a world without the emperor. As the highest existence in the long river of time and space, Qishan is so powerful that his avenue is so powerful that even if it is stripped out, that avenue of devouring can ravage a universe at will. Fortunately, when the Qishan fell, he was sitting in the Qishan temple, and his avenue was completely preserved in the Qishan temple. If it falls in the outside world, it will either lead to a wealthy universe or breed a powerful taboo master. After the taboo demon lord was eliminated back then, he developed self-awareness, which has been floating in the long river of time and space, often harming one party. Fortunately, a powerful suppression later swept in again and encountered the Temple of Qishan again, which made taboo demon lord very jealous. After all, it was something left behind by the gods. He also knew about the plans of the gods back then. Now that the Temple of the Gods is opened in the original universe, he is also afraid that the gods will do something earth-shattering and ruin his good deeds. Thinking of threatening the true spirit this time, he was scared and ran away. In the core of the primitive universe, in the huge ball cage, there is a huge body that can reach hundreds of millions of miles. There is no creature to approach this place. The evil aura exuded by the huge body is too powerful, and even the origin is corroded. Now, even the Fifth Order Emperor here will affect the mind and damage the origin. This is also the most dangerous place in the primitive universe. Heaven Prison. The towering body is the deity of the taboo demon lord. Although the seal had begun to loosen, he still couldn't move a step. According to calculations, it would take tens of thousands of chaotic epochs to break through the cage. Each epoch is hundreds of millions of years and tens of thousands of chaotic epochs. He can't afford to wait. Now that the Temple of Chishan has appeared in the original universe, who knows what the original universe will become by then, and what if there is a master of the universe? Not only could he not swallow the primitive universe, but he weakened the origin of the primitive universe, made wedding dresses for others, and had to be sealed again in the end. So he dare not delay it. Do you really want to force me to solve it? The taboo demon sighed, and his huge eyes turned at this moment. It will take 1,000,000 years. Enough time. I hope that little guy can grow up quickly. The taboo demon Lord fell into deposition again. The primitive universe also slackened a bit at this moment. Temple of Chishan on the original star. If Jian Wushuang knew that after devouring the origin of Miluo, it would attract the attention of the two cosmic peaks, he didn't know how he would think about it. The melee in the canyon was reversed after Miluo fell. Miluo destroyed his origin, leaving only a complete inner armor and a dark red bead on the ruins. Both of these are very good innate treasures. Jian Wushuang naturally waved and put it away, and then handed it to Huiqing. You pick one. Huiqing folded her hands and shook her head. A long brown stick is born with it, and if he is strong, and he does not need any treasure at all. Then I'm not welcome. Jian Wushuang said with a smile. This time, he realized how poor he was from the original star's view. He immediately drops blood to recognize the Lord, and directly brings the inner armor and the bead guarding the origin. The bead floats above the origin, not only can guard the origin avenue, but also nourish the origin. Jian Wushuang swept away the haze. The whole person was very refreshed, and his mind was clear. Brother Wushuang, what should I do with the 3 of them? Huiqing pointed to the crazy 3, saying that they are crazy, they are not wronged. The 3 peak powerhouses burned their origins and fought in a group. You punched me, and I was almost killed. Regardless of how desperate the 2 emperors of the Daluo world were, they couldn't kill Mo Long. This doesn't mean how strong Mo Long is, although there are many treasures, but when his strength is suppressed, he is no match for 2 of the same rank. The reason why he did not fall is because when he was about to be unable to withstand it, the suppression of him by the universe would be loosened by 1 point. Now the suppression has been completely loosened, and even gave Mo Long a 30% strength, which allowed the 3 of them. Hit now. The 3 emperors of the Daluo realm always thought they had advantages, but in fact, they were not. The 3 of them had always been in a balance of power. The 3 of them have consumed each other until now, and their strength has been almost consumed. Jian Wushuang and Huiqing can solve them easily. Chapter 5190, It's time to liquidate. Jian Wushuang said calmly. In a flash, he appeared above the 3 of them, overlooking the 3 peak powers who were hugged in a group. Snapped. Emperor Daluo Jiezi slapped his palm on the forehead of God Emperor Malong and directly dented his skull. Thanks, Tut brother, it's still the last time. Puff. Mo Long sprayed blood on the opponent's face, raising his fist and hitting the chest of the Emperor Daluo Jiezi, also denting his chest. The 3 of their original powers were completely consumed, and they didn't even have the power to restore their physical bodies. The 3 pinnacle powers all had visible wounds on their bodies. Idiot! Mo Long didn't say anything else, but kept repeating the word idiot. You die for me. The Emperor Daluo used the last trace of power to mobilize the Shumi ring, took out a pinnacle dagger, and inserted it into the neck of Emperor Malong. The pale golden blood rushed along the wound, gushing out. Puff! The Emperor of Daluo realm violently, Mo Long also violently, pulling out the dagger from his neck, this time not repeating the word idiot. With a grunt in his throat, God Emperor Mo Long couldn't distinguish his facial features, sneered out a sneer, and said hoarsely, "You should pierce my head." As soon as the voice fell, Mo Long held the dagger's hand, squeezing the only trace of energy in the body again, and manipulated the dagger to slide out a beam of light. The two emperors of Daluo realm, clutching their throats, stepped back. Jian Wushuang couldn't bear to look at it, and such a strong man finally made it like this. "Call." He waved his hand, and thought that the universe dissipated, and Jian Wushuang was not affecting their minds, leaving them a sigh of relief by the way. Mo Long, you hand over all the treasures in your body and all your achievements. I can spare your life. Jian Wushuang said lightly. After the three of them were separated, the only breath that they held was also gone, and now they can only sit on the ruins and look up at Jian Wushuang in white clothes in the sky. What's going on? How could Miluo fall? The two discovered that Miluo had fallen. "You thief!" The emperor of Daluo Jia, forbearing the blood in his chest, yelled angrily. Jian Wushuang didn't bother to look at these two people, and a sword gas killed one of them. "Hui Qing, the other is handed over to you." Jian Wushuang said casually. If he said it was 5-5, then 5-5. He didn't know the ranking of the two. Now he killed one at will, leaving the remaining one to Hui Qing. Two people are equal to one person. Carve up a pinnacle Dian, immortal. Hui Qing was stunned for a moment, and finally said silently and patted it with a palm. In the end, the physical body of the Emperor de Luogia dissipated, and the divine body and the source also disappeared, completely perished. The two got the corresponding record, but the main killer, Mo Long, was taken away. The last one, on the record alone, Miluo has the most records, and Mo Long has the most treasures. There are probably not many Dian immortals in the entire universe that can have more treasures than God Emperor Malong. After all, not every Fourth Order Emperor just has a son. I am afraid that only the immediate family members of the Fifth Order Emperor can surpass the treasures on Mo Long's body. Well, if you think carefully, take out all the treasures. Your life is worthless. Seeing you help me hold them for so long, I will let you go. Jian Wushuang didn't lie to him. His life was at most 100,000 records. Jian Wushuang really didn't like this. The reason for keeping him alive is to control the innate treasure on his body. The two pieces of Jinfen catalog and Zenula are the innate treasure suits, which are the most valuable. Once they are controlled, it is equivalent to an extra hole card. But what Jian Wushuang wanted most was the eye of the beast god. An innate treasure of the domain category is too rare to have, and few emperors have it, let alone Dian immortal. Although Jian Wushuang was able to use a thought of the universe, every time he used a thought of the universe, his thought power would be drained. With the eyes of the beast god, it would relieve him a lot of pressure. At least he didn't need to move to use the universe. Moreover, the eyes of the beast contained a power that made his heart palpitations, and this treasure must be obtained in its entirety. Since the Fourth Order Emperor had given his son so many treasures, he would definitely leave behind some backs. He was afraid that he would kill Mo Long, and these treasures would be gone. How do I believe in you? Mo Long sat on a rock and saw the two Emperor Daluo, who were subsequently killed. The pride in his heart disappeared, and what replaced him was the joy of victory. These two idiots had no use value and were killed directly, but he was still alive and could still negotiate with Jian Wushuang. He won the battle of life and death. The delirious Mo Long grinned and laughed wildly. Jian Wushuang slowly landed beside him, patted his shoulder, and laughed along with him. I can swear. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Who would believe it? Mo Long's expression sank. Then there is nothing to talk about. Jian Wushuang's sword aura floated between Mo Long's eyebrows, and the terrifying aura emanating from a gray sword intent made Mo Long's breath unstable, panting in fright. Mo Long raised his hand and hurriedly shouted, "You can talk. I can give you all the treasures and records, but you have to give me a guarantee." Jian Wushuang stretched out his left hand, his forefingers facing the sky. "God is here. I, Jian Wushuang, swear that after getting Malong's treasure, he will never hurt Malong a bit. If you violate it, he will die." As soon as the voice fell, a ray of cause and effect in the sky condensed on the two of them. Mo Long nodded the temple head and looked at Hui Qing again. Hui Qing understood in an instant that he didn't want to kill anymore, so he swore a vow like Jian Wushuang. "It's okay now." Jian Wushuang knelt down, eyebrows raised, and stared at Mo Long. "One piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. Hundreds." The pinnacle of innate treasure is the innate treasure suit of the Blood Jade Tower. And this is the only one. There are 3 top innate treasures, one to guard the origin, one to protect the divine body, and the other to be the eye of the beast god. The remaining 17 pieces are of the innate supreme treasure level, and the rest are the most common ones are the pinnacle supreme treasure, and there are many supreme pinnacle treasure suits. Jian Wushuang looked at it and swallowed, and said lightly, "Brother Malong, you have stolen the emperor's treasure house." Standing in the distance, Hui Qing was taken aback, and there were some treasures that really suit him. Divine Emperor, Mo Long didn't dare to be big. Jian Wushuang, don't worry, there is absolutely no method on these treasures. You can recognize the Lord with a drop of blood. If you don't believe it, I can swear. Jian Wushuang waved his hand. "No, you just need to tell me all the information about this treasure." After being taken out, the eye of the beast looked like a diamond-shaped gem. Its pale golden color appeared very low-key, but the ancient atmosphere it exudes was genuine. Chapter 5191. The primitive star, deep in the mountains. Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing came to a cave that was more hidden than the previous gorge. "Brother Wushuang, then we don't live here." Hui Qing folded her hands and smiled lightly. "Then we will see you on the main continent." Jian Wushuang nodded, and the two separated. This was also planned from the beginning. The strong are always lonely. He masters the ultimate swordsmanship and takes the way of killing, while Hui Qing is the way of Zen. Different ways cannot be forced. In fact, Jian Wushuang still wanted to avoid unnecessary troubles. Hui Qing had a lot of secrets, and it was even more closely related to Qixin Temple. Farewell. Jian Wushuang got up to send him off, watching Hui Qing's back disappear into the sky, and then re-entered the cave. The simple enchantment under the additional layout of the cave can provide insight into the additional millions of miles, and he will not stay here for too long. The Temple of Qixin is conceived with danger and will give birth to powerful opportunities, especially now that Ji Dao has stepped into the 4th level and has mastered the power of mind swallowing everything. He needs to continue to fight. At this moment, the key is to make a short correction, refining the eye of the beast first. According to Emperor Moron, the eye of the beast god was the remains of an ancient battlefield encountered by his father when he entered the long river of time and space. The reason it was called the eye of the beast god was because the spar resembled an eye and called out of the ancient beast gods. At that time, Moron's father thought he had picked up the big treasure, but after refining, the eye of the beast was not as strong as he thought. It is of little use to the emperor, but the power of this ancient secret treasure is very improved, which can increase the divine body of ordinary life 10 times. In addition to cultivating some powerful peculiarities, it is very difficult to improve the power of the divine body, but this treasure can enhance the divine body of Dian Immortal. Moron's father felt that this treasure was unusual so he bestowed it on Moron. This treasure is indeed powerful, and his role is perfect for Dian immortal, more powerful than any innate spirit treasure. Jian Wushuang crossed his knees on a flat stone bed, his eyebrows flashing constantly, and the eyes of the beast were fusing. Although he is not a special being, the divine body is stronger than ordinary special beings. At least in the big division domain, his divine body can be said to be superior. But looking at the entire primitive universe, his divine body power is very average. In other words, each of the special beings under Chishui Traveler's command possessed thousands of times the power of the divine body. Divine Emperor Morong, because his father was the emperor, awakened the power of the bloodline, and the divine body exploded with 500 times the power. But if he added 10 times the increase of the eye of the beast, he would have 5,000 times the divine body. 5,000 times. They are extremely strong existences in special beings, and only countless epochs in the secret realm of the universe can give birth to a darling of 5,000 times the divine body. The special life, the natural origin, and the special life bred in some higher secret realms, each is no less than the special second-rank origin powerhouse, and there are even some that can be comparable to the ultimate way. The limit of the primitive universe is the special life that can give birth to 10,000 times the divine body. This kind of monster is unique. Once it is bred, it will be snatched up by the major forces and cultivated into a powerful talent. Once the harmony is successful, it will be a very strong presence among the Fourth Order Emperors. Chishui Walker is a special being born in the early days of the universe. He has 10,000 times a divine body, so he has a poor understanding of the origin path. Besides that, he is almost perfect, and the divine body can't be used up at all. As reason, moreover, he is still the most promising existence in the primitive universe to break through the Fifth Order Emperor, and in the future, he has great hopes to become the Fifth Order Emperor and become the highest existence. Jian Wushuang's divine body can still be seen when it is evolving. After entering Dian, it is incomparable with those special beings. Fortunately, he has the eye of the beast god, which is the treasure that all Dian immortals can dream of. Directly increase the divine body 10 times, rather than simply accumulate the strength of the divine body. Now, Jian Wushuang's divine body is about 1,000 times. If it is increased by 10 times, wouldn't it be a tenfold genetic divine body? It is directly comparable to the strongest life in the universe. The buzzing sound rang in his mind, and it was only at this moment that the eyes of the beast were completely integrated. Started. Jian Wushuang forbeared his joy. Double. 3 times. 5 times. Jian Wushuang was stunned for a moment, turned the beast god's eyes to the extreme, and finally turned his body 6 times. What's the matter? Jian Wushuang asked in confusion. Could it be that Moron lied to him? It shouldn't be. He redisplayed the eyes of the beast with some uncertainty until the phantom of the beast behind him solidified. He stopped. This time it was still increased by 6 times. At this time, his divine body reached more than 6,000 times, and he could destroy the world with every gesture because of the power of the source. He is stronger than any Dian immortal source. Even if he burns the source, he can kill those masters of the ultimate way. The only difference is the power of the divine body, which has now been multiplied by 6 times and has 6,000 times the divine body genes, which is comparable to the special lives bred in higher secret realms. The boundary of the eye of the beast god is not fixed. Jian Wushuang came to a conclusion. In people with weaker gods, his increase will be stronger. For example, it can be increased tenfold in Moron. If it is in those unique and special beings, it may only increase by 1 or 2 times. His divine body is 1,000 times twice that of Moron. He can increase 6 times. Then the special life of the 2,000 times divine body may increase twice. Sure enough, The universe is fair. These ordinary beings, especially the human race, have a weak life gene, but they have a large number and strong understanding, and they are destined to reach the peak. Special beings are different. There are only a handful of special beings in the entire universe that have successfully combined with Tao, and the special life of 10,000-fold divine body is even more, so that only Chishui Walker has successfully combined with Tao. As for ordinary beings, there are so many emperors in harmony. There are more than tens of thousands of emperors in the entire universe. There are tens of thousands of emperors who have walked out of the original universe for countless years. They are not reconciled to their own strength, chose to go rafting in the long river of time and space. But there are only a few special lives. This is the gap. Jian Wushuang is still very satisfied to be able to increase 6 times, so that his divine body can carry more thought power, which greatly improves his overall strength. Now, even if he is alone, he has the confidence to deal with the general peak Dian immortal. If it is Moron, if he encounters it alone, he still has to walk around. Jian Wushuang let out a sigh, put away the eyes of the beast god, and everything returned to peace. The divine body has also become 1,000 times the original. I have to find a way to improve my body. 1,000 times. It was the limit at the beginning of the Great Division. And now entering the Temple of Qishan, if there is a chance, he still focuses on improving the divine body. The divine body is his weakness and must be insufficient. Chapter 51, 92. He was unwilling to owe cause and effect for the treasures he got from Moron this time, so he forced most of the treasures to Huiqing. In addition to the eye of the beast god, he also picked a sword of innate treasure armor. The entire battle armor can cover the whole body. After the divine body is upgraded, coupled with the innate treasure armor, he is not afraid to fight close to those peak Dian immortals. As for the Blood Jade Palace, and the innate treasure that guards the origin, he gave it to Huiqing. First, his origin is strong enough, and Miluo's innate treasure is enough. Second, Huiqing has a large strength span, and the origin is not stable. More need to guard the origin of the innate top treasure, and the Blood Jade Palace contains a lot of evil spirits, which can allow Huiqing to go through the transformation to improve her strength, and it is more suitable for Huiqing. The remaining innate treasures, the two are also divided according to the improvement of their own combat power. The remaining ordinary treasures, Huiqing can't look at them. After all, they are born from a great power and are the ultimate way. The immeasurable Buddha also gave him a lot of good things. He gave all the remaining treasures to Jian Wushuang, all kinds of emperor-level pills and some other treasures, such as treasures that can hide the breath of Dian Immortal. These things are top treasures in the outside world. Even if they don't need to go out, they can be sold and exchanged for other treasures. Jian Wushuang is alone now, and there are more treasures he needs in the future, so the way to improve the divine body is enough for him to drink a pot. There are also materials needed for physical consummation, which are even more expensive. After sorting out the treasures again, Jian Wushuang put away the treasures, took out the identity token, and checked his record. Trial, Jian Wushuang Realm. 6-turn Dian Immortal. This information is not available for viewing. Record, 43. 96 million record rank. 72 the total ranking of the original stars. First, Blood Moon Daoist second. Break the Army third. Lingshuang Daojun 68th. Huiqing 72. Jian Wushuang, both he and Huiqing entered the top 100 rankings and only got a record of 30 million from Miluo. Even if he doesn't go out and hides in the mountains, he can be sure of the top 1,000 rankings and may eventually fall out of the top 100, but the rewards of the God of Qi Temple only say that 1,000 and 1,000 can be bestowed. As for whether the value of the treasures given to the top one and the one with the top 1,000 is the same, he doesn't know. However, He believes that the treasure given to the first place is stronger. If it's all the same, don't fight when you enter the first 1,000. Just find a place to practice. Cultivating on primal stars is 100 times stronger than in the outside world. It can be said that this is a rare retreat venue. But no one believes that number 1 is the same as the treasure obtained by 1,000. They are like Jian Wushuang, trying to squeeze the ranking into the top 100 or even the top 10. Looking at it now, the top 3 are all strong at the Taoist level. The top 10 weakest are all extreme Dayan immortals. There are only a few peak Dayan immortals in the top 100, and most of them are extreme Dayan immortals. These extreme evolving immortals are old antiques who have survived countless emperors, and these young emperors and Taoists simply cannot compete with them. The number 1 Blood Moon Emperor ranks more than 400 in the Cosmos Gods and Demons list, which is equivalent to Jiyu's strength. Jian Wushuang had seen Jiyu's terrifying combat power. A single person slaughtered hundreds of 9-round perfect Dayan immortal level ghosts. A Dayan immortal of this kind of strength might be able to kill him in a single encounter. When I went to the main continent, I still had to avoid these Dayan immortals who were named Dao Monarchs. Although their strength hasn't reached the Half-Step Emperor, they are not much different. At most, they are weaker than the Half-Step Emperor of the Ultimate Way. What is weak is just the strength of the source. Jian Wushuang is still a long way from being a strong player. At least he can't be the strongest in a primitive star. On this primordial star, his true combat power can be in the top 100, even if it is good, but fortunately, he has a lot of room for improvement now. Unlike those third-rank origin avenues, when they come to the end, they will only have the strength of the peak Dayan immortal when they are about to join the Tao. At the 4th level of Ji Dao, he can use his thought power to swallow the origin of others, and his strength can be improved very quickly. After swallowing a few pinnacle Dayan immortals, he is about to enter the Nineth rank Dayan immortal. At that time, his strength will undergo a qualitative change, and his combat power will be comparable to the extreme Dayan immortal. It's just that it's not so easy to improve the Ji Dao. Only when the level of Dao is raised, his leap will be even greater. Every 3 layers of Ji Dao is a big threshold. In the hundreds of millions of years in the starry sky, he achieved the first 3 levels in one fell swoop, and then swallowed them with thought power in the great wilderness and stepped into the 4th level. The most important thing at the moment is to upgrade the Ji Dao to the 6th level as soon as possible, when the power of swallowing will be terrifying. Peak Dayan Immortal's original Dao. Now he can swallow 10%, the 6 levels of extreme Dao, and he can even swallow other Dayan Immortal's original Dao intact. Since mastering this ability, he has become more and more eager to kill. This killing is full of evil, which is why the taboo demon lord is optimistic about him. This is the attraction between the same kind. Fortunately, this is the temple of Qishan. If it is outside, he will definitely be included in the ranks of the demon. But at their level, the distinction between righteousness and demons has become very blurred. Just like those Dayan immortals on primordial stars, many of them are great demon in the outside world, but they are still at large with emperors standing behind them, and no one dares to move them. Jian Wushuang is different. He can't be regarded as a demon now, but an evil Dayan immortal who can strengthen himself by devouring the same kind. And he has no background. Once Ji Dao enters the 6th floor, even if stuck there and can't break through, he can still join the Dao. At that time, his strength was basically invincible under the Emperor, and he could swallow Dayan Immortal at any time. This threat is too great, and there is no background. Then the entire primitive universe will have no place for him. Swallowing one is too terrible. If he succeeds in reconciliation, wouldn't those emperors become rations? It is impossible for them to sit idly by, not to mention that by that time the origin of the universe would reject him. swallowing the original universe. Jian Wushuang exhaled deeply. Although he hadn't reached that point yet, he was already able to foresee the future, contend with the source, and even swallow it to achieve the top of the universe. Enlightenment is difficult, and harmony is his calamity. As for swallowing the universe, it is even more delusional. He didn't know if he swallowed a pass that couldn't walk. Now that he was on this avenue, he had to finish him. This is not about the beginning and the end, but the way he has to go for it. If he gives up swallowing, his cultivation speed will slow down, and the intention of killing will one day be uncontrollable. Once it is backlashed, the consequences are simply unimaginable. So the true spirit of Qixin Temple said that his way is different. Chapter 51:93. This rare trial, the most precious thing is these dying immortals. Jian Wushuang's evil eyes shrank. The causal killing on his body is very likely to be his current predicament. In this case, after he raises the Ji Dao to the 7th level, he should get better. Maybe just like when he reaches the 4th level, he will master other abilities. The hundreds of millions of years of cultivation in the starry sky gave him a lot of insights. Although the primordial star continued to kill, fortunately, he could get a chance to breathe. Since meeting Hui Qing, he was either desperately or fleeing for his life, and now he has some time to stabilize his strength. Jian Wushuang closed his eyes to rest his mind and began to stabilize himself. In the battle with Moron and others, the goods received were not only the treasures and achievements, but also the origins that were swallowed. Together, these origins can be comparable to the complete origin of the 9 revolutions, and it is the origin road of the 2nd rank. What he has to do now is to absorb these original powers as much as possible into the extreme path. As for the ultimate kendo origin, he has already stepped into the 6th level, and now does not need to be promoted. Even if it is a promotion, he does not dare to use the swallowed origin to improve. Kendo is the only one. It cannot be complex or chaotic. Kendo should be pure, the best by nature. The extreme Tao is different. The extreme Tao contains the origin of all Tao, and he can swallow and merge at will. As for mental strength, it can't be regarded as a Tao alone. It is a Tao tied to Kendo. The stronger the Kendo, the stronger his mental strength. Since the ultimate Kendo entered the 6th level, his mental strength has also changed, and there are signs of breakthrough. This is also thanks to the ordinary mind tree of the immeasurable Buddha. If he has the opportunity, he must go to see the Bodhi tree. It would be even better if it could be uprooted. However, this idea just flashed in my mind. This tree gave birth to the immeasurable realm and connected the treasures that the gods and gods longed for. How could he get his hands on it? After sinking his heart, he began to merge the origins and also split a thought power to evolve the Phantom Sword. He knows a lot about the Kendo formation, especially the Kendo formation in the Wangu era. In the Wangu era of Desiyu, there was an amazing and brilliant sword fairy who succeeded in achieving the emperor through the combination of swordsmanship, and even created the 3-foot sword skill, which has been passed down to this day. Among them was a 3-foot sword formation, but this formation was not complete. The master of the 3-foot sword back then was suppressed by Zhen Wuyang before the formation was completed. The big formation has 6 layers. The owner of the 3-foot sword once said that the 3-foot sword can measure the universe. There are 13 layers in total, but it is a pity that he was suppressed when the 6th layer was just created. However, having these 6 layers is enough for Jian Wushuang. As for the 13 layers that the emperor said, he didn't know whether it was true or not, or it was possible that he had never said such a thing at all. It was completely fabricated. After all, I just created the 6th floor and said that he could go to the 13th floor and measure the universe. Such rumors are too false. Mind force moved slightly, splitting up countless Jian Wushuang phantoms. and began to deduce the sword formation together. The name of this big formation was also very loud, but it was a pity that it finally fell. Absolute immortal formation. Jian Wushuang whispered, seeing the immortals in the ultimate world, domineering enough. It's a pity that you can't kill the emperor, otherwise there won't be any real Wuyang. The first 3 layers of the absolute immortal formation corresponded to the Dayan Immortal. When the Sword Immortal was in Dayan Immortal, he used this formation to achieve a prestigious Dao Sovereign, and he was extremely powerful. You must know that not every Dayan Immortal can become an emperor. That Sword Immortal was only a 3rd-rank kendo back then. When the Nineth rank Dayan Immortal, the strongest is the peak Dayan Immortal, but he can rely on this formation to become a Dao Jun. This big formation is definitely a terrifying formation that can kill the extreme Dayan Immortal in his hands. Like Luo Hao's 9th ranking consummation of the 2nd stage Origin Dao, he can match the peak Dayan Immortal when he is strongest, although he still needs to be improved. Even the 3rd rank Dayan Immortal will be able to match the peak Dayan Immortal even if he cultivates to the extreme. That amazing and brilliant Peerless Sword Immortal was able to complete the Dayan Immortal with the 9th rank of the 3rd stage Origin Avenue, comparable to the limit Dayan Immortal, and also able to break out of the prestige of Dao Jun, which is not simple. Jian Wushuang realized the power of it just after he got into the sword formation. The first level of the Juxian array is also an entry point, so you need to control 36 swords, and the sword intent of each sword cannot be lower than the 9 rounds of consummation. This is very simple for Jian Wushuang, but 36 swords are somewhat difficult. Now that the Phantom Sword has just been created, it can divide the 9 swords. After this increase in strength, it will be able to divide the 18 swords. If it divides again, I am afraid that the kendo origin contained in it will be much weaker. Fortunately, his sword intent for each of his swords is far more complete than that of rank 9. And now, the 6th level of the ultimate path is comparable to the 9th level of the 2nd grade origin path. The sword intent is powerful, and I am afraid that it will be with that Peerless Sword Fairy in the day the peak combat power of the immortal period is not much different. If the requirements can be met, the rest of the enlightenment is very simple. After all, it is not for him to create a formation. Now, it is only to master a sword formation. Is it naturally much lower? Plus, he has mastered the ultimate way. Being the master of kendo, comprehending the sword formation is even more like a fish in water. 1 in the cave, 3 years in a blink of an eye. The dead silence of primordial star does not reflect the power of time that blooms and blooms, but Jian Wushuang's strength is strengthened to make time meaningful. Over the mountains, the 2 9th turn consummation Dayan immortals broke apart and flew away, stopping at and near Jian Wushuang's position. One of the 2 has the top level of combat power of rank 9, and the other is Dayan Immortal with weak aura and divine body frequently collapsed. Crazy Yan, I will send you here. This is located in the deepest part of the mountain range. You will never encounter those powerful Dayan Immortals when you recover from your injuries. With your record, at the end of the trial, you can stay in the top 10,000, and you will still be able to comprehend the origin of the gods by then. The top Dayan Immortal persuaded. The persuasion was naturally the lunatic Yang, whose real name was Yang Feng because of the fighting and craziness, so he got the nickname of a lunatic Yang. But being crazy on primordial is not a good thing. His own strength is not too strong in the 9th rank top because of madness. He burns his source at every turn, which makes many strong people a headache. After entering Primordial Star, he formed a team with a group of friends and accumulated a lot of achievements. However, it was too difficult for him to enter the top 1,000 with his strength, so he began to target some lone peaks, but those who can be alone. None of the Dayan Immortals, the pinnacle of the main continent, could be dealt with. No, the whole team was almost killed by the pinnacle Dayan Immortal. Fortunately, Crazy Young burned half of his origin and led them to escape the pinnacle Dian Immortal's pursuit. Chapter 5194. The original source has lost half, and the divine body has reached the point of collapse. Crazy Young can't fight anymore, and can only enter the mountains to provide for the elderly. Humph, if it wasn't for your timidity, that Deluo Jezi would have been cut by me. Crazy Young almost fell. His mouth was still very hard. He was not convinced at all. The pinnacle Dian, immortal they were staring at, was one of the 10 emperors of the Daluo realm. 3 years ago, the 6 emperors of Daluoji in this primitive star fell for at once, and the remaining 2 emperors did not dare to be arrogant anymore. They had been walking low-key on the main continent. Who would have thought of how many top Dianxian actually dared to encircle and kill him, treating him as a soft persimmon, and almost killed all the strong men of that squad in a fit of anger. His friend sighed and said faintly, "Well, this time the old 7th has fallen. What do you think of us?" When he heard him mention Lao Qi, Crazy Young fell silent, and his eyes became a little red. Shao Qi is the only woman among them, and she has always been regarded as her younger sister in the outside world, but now she has fallen for them in Primordial Star. Little 7. Crazy Young lowered his head. "Okay, don't be too sad. Cultivate yourself here. After a few years, you won't be able to fight. Our older brothers will come to you and wait for the trial to end. Their strength is at the top level, and this strength also has a glimmer of hope to enter the top 1,000, and several of them have discussed it. If they are the closest to the top 1,000 in the last year, they will give up the top 10,000 ranking and place their identity tokens. Give it to that person. Let him enter the first 1,000 and enter the next round. As for the treasures bestowed, it is for those who have contributed to their achievements." Crazy Young nodded. This time he didn't say anything, but fell straight into the mountains. The strong man who sent him shook his head, sighed. His figure disappeared in a flash, and he had to go to the main continent to fight before he finished his journey. After landing in the hinterland of the mountains, Crazy Young took his breath and began to find a place suitable for hiding on foot. Now he is seriously injured and only has the strength of the ordinary 9th rank perfect Dian Immortal, so he naturally finds the safest place to hide his body. Stepped across thousands of mountains, looking around. I heard that there are more than 100,000 great Yangtzeans hidden in this mountain range. Crazy Young snorted. The hidden Dian Immortal has the weakest strength, and here is the hinterland of the mountains, and there are not a few strong people who will come here. After some Dian Immortals came in, they saw that the momentum was wrong, and they hid in the mountains. Most of these people were rank 9 Dian Immortals, weak in strength, and did not have any record in them. Killing a Nineth, rank Dian Immortal has only 100 records. If you have this time, it is better to participate in a battle on the mainland and get tens of thousands of records. After these years of screening, the Dian Immortals who can survive on the main continent are not weak, and each has a record of hundreds of thousands. These talents are fat. Crazy Young continued to explore in the mountains. Although his strength has declined severely, he still has an ordinary level of consummation, and naturally he is not afraid of those cowards who are hiding. Snapped. Crazy Young stepped 1,000 miles into a quiet canyon. "This place is great." Crazy Young whispered softly. After several years of fighting, he was still somewhat unwilling to end up like this, but his strength had declined so severely that he could not stay in the main continent. Otherwise he would die. After stepping into the gorge, his figure flashed into the depths of the gorge. Looking around, there are natural caves that extend in all directions and are very suitable for hiding. Stepping again, directly into the cave, Crazy Young, who had just entered the cave, suddenly felt that something was wrong, but before he could react, he was stunned on the spot, and then moved forward mechanically like a puppet. "Call." there are still people who take the initiative to come to deliver the record. Jian Wushuang directly controlled the seriously injured Crazy Yang with a trace of effort. I have been cultivating for several years in a blink of an eye. I was thinking about leaving here in the past few days. It was time to go to the main continent to wander around. But before he left, there was a stupid Dayan who broke into his enchantment. Then, under the interference of his thought power, Crazy Yang walked into the cave where he was, and then directly controlled it with his mind power. Although he was also ranked in the top 100 of Primordial Star, he really didn't know the true battlefield of Primordial Star. With a movement of thought power, Crazy Yang came directly in front of him. Crazy Yang at this time, his eyes dull, and his movements were sitting cross-legged opposite Jian Wushuang. I ask you, how much do you know about the main continent? Jian Wushuang waved his hand, and an additional note appeared in front of him, with some rare and exotic fruits and a jug of wine above him. These were all searched from the divine Emperor Malong. This guy has the Emperor as his father, and under the control of a chassis comparable to the middle world. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is an emperor. As an emperor, he always has all kinds of precious treasures, exotic fruits, and fine wines. Jian Wushuang drank himself without a hassle. The light fragrance of the wine made people feel refreshed. After drinking, the whole person was lightly fluttering. I think this wine is also made from a lot of exotic fruits. The master of one force is good. Various treasures were offered, and this kind of wine, Jian Wushuang had never heard of it. After all, this pot of wine could be exchanged for an ordinary treasure in the outside world, and Jian Wushuang was not so luxurious. Although Crazy Yang lost consciousness, he still swallowed and replied stiffly, "Mainland? Is it the Eclosion continent?" "Yes." Jian Wushuang nodded. He heard the name Yuhua continent mentioned by Mo Long and wanted to ask Mo Long about the situation of the Yuhua continent, but he thought that Mo Long had just recovered from his injuries and had not gone to the Yuhua continent for a long time. Yes, there is the main battlefield, and it looks like one day, by the way, why is that continent called the Eclosion continent? Jian Wushuang asked curiously. When they first arrived at Primordial Star, there was a dead silence here, but they didn't know anything about this week. How could that continent have a name, and everyone could agree with it? That continent was derived from a feather. Dao Monarch Blood Moon called it the Eclosion continent, and everyone followed suit. A feather? Jian Wushuang's eyes shrank suddenly, and he was shocked. How could it be that big with a feather? A feather is a continent, meeting the entire Primordial Star, 10% of the size, no matter the feathers that fall from there, or the size of the existence of that person. This is not the law of heaven and earth. This is that the feathers that fall off are just as big. I am afraid that the existing body is comparable to a small world, so huge he has never heard of it. I am afraid that it is difficult for the Fifth Order Emperor to do it. Chapter 51:95. How strong is this divine body? Although he has not seen their bodies, he has also heard that when the 9th revolution reaches consummation, the body of special lives will cover the sky and the sun. The largest is only a few, the size of 100,000 li. The emperor and powerful like Qishui Xingzha should have tens of millions of li, or even hundreds of millions of li. But the Eclosion continent is too huge. Even if it is a 9th-ranked perfect great yen immortal who can reach millions of miles, it will take 2 consecutive hours to cross the Eclosion continent. A feather is so big that existing ontology can hardly imagine. How strong is the divine body to have such a big body? Or that the existence is a strong person who surpasses the emperor? Jian Wushuang waited expectantly for Crazy Yang to answer, but the result was unsatisfactory. "I don't know." Crazy Yang replied without emotion. "It's not too strange. Just those people who want to understand the origin of that feather. Only through their strength and entering the core of the temple of God can they be qualified to know who the owner of that feather is and how powerful it is. However, it is too difficult to enter the core. I am afraid that only the first few people will be able to enter the temple of Qixin. Thinking farther and farther, Jian Wushuang shook his head, waved his hand, and said, "Forget it. Let's talk about the current situation in the Eclosian continent." Crazy Young answered quickly this time. Obviously, these things were deeply imprinted in his mind. Jian Wushuang listened intently. He never expected that so many weird things would happen to the little Yuhua continent, especially when I heard that the 6 emperors of the Daluo realm had fallen 4 in one day. There are also 2 unfamiliar names that suddenly appeared in the top 100. These 2 people suddenly appeared in the top 100 as if they had emerged out of thin air. The key is that there are no 2 people on the Yuhua continent. They all felt that this was a problem with the Qixin temple, and they shouted at the Qixin temple on the only holy mountain on the Yuhua continent and came out to explain. They worked desperately, and as a result, 2 strangers suddenly appeared in the top 100 places, and they couldn't be found. The powerhouses in the emerging continent are only those hundreds of thousands. In such a big place, they can't see them when they look up all day long. Everyone is familiar with them, and they all think this thing is outrageous. It was also madly rumored that the 3-rank Dian immortal entered the primordial star, and luckily encountered the collective suicide of the 4 emperors of the Daluo realm, and picked up the identity tokens of the 4 strongest in the top 1,000 to enter the top 100. Such a rumor is actually believed by some people. Most of those who believe are some of the top 9th ranks. Under the condition of survival of the fittest, it is difficult to enter the top 1,000. They all have a try mentality and want to enter the mountains. I found the 3-turn powerhouse, but after a year, I didn't find anything and finally returned without success. After all, time is precious. Talk about the distribution of the strong on the Eclosian continent. Jian Wushuang listened more and more, and what he wanted was not gossip, but information about the strong. Feelings Crazy Young thought about these daydreaming things as a whole. Jian Wushuang was a little speechless. He didn't know how crazy those strong people who couldn't make it to the top 1,000 desperately were. They didn't have the strength to make it into the top 1,000, so they could only do some daydreams and discuss these conversations every day. The strong. Crazy Yang's expression changed, and he truthfully said the strong from the entire feathered continent. There are 5 invincible powerhouses in the Eclosian continent. Each of them can be called Daojun. In the outside world, the emerging continent was also divided into 5 areas because of their 5. The rest of the strong can cross at will, but these 5 invincible strong cannot walk around at will. This is the rules set by the 5 of them. The 5 of them can only hunt in their respective areas and are not allowed to go to other areas. The hunting ground in the central area of the Eclosian continent is a chassis belonging to the Blood Moon Daoist. The Northern Territory is in charge of the 2nd-ranked Breaking Army, the 3rd Lungshuang Daojun. In the Southern Territory, Eastern Territory ranked 4th, Tier Heaven Dao Monarch, the 5th Wanqing Daojun. In the Western regions, the rankings of the 5 are not very different, and they change from time to time, but their status has never changed. The early battles made them famous. In the outside world, their strength is little known, but in Primordial Star, they have become a highly anticipated figure. Their ranking is actually linked to the means. The Blood Moon Daojun can rank first because he is a special life, and the secret of his talent is a blood moon, which can double the speed. No one can escape the prey he fancy. This is also the reason why he has been able to hold the first place. The lowest ranked Wanqing Daojun. Among the 5 is the Emperor of the Star Luo realm, who is extremely talented and is the chief emperor of the star Luo realm. Xingluo, Daluo, Tianluo, and the three big worlds are actually a force. This is also the confidence of the emperors in the Daluo realm. Unfortunately, this Wanqing Daojun is not interested in them at all, but those Daluo Jiadizi was pulling his tiger skin, and he was very rampant in the western regions. The three higher worlds, respected by the celestial realm, are named Daluotian Luo Tian's forces are extremely united in the outside world, even if they enter the temple of Qixin. The emperor also exhorts them not to kill each other. Wanqing Daojun has a very high vision, and he doesn't like the emperors of Daluojia at all. He pursues the ultimate. Originally, his strength could not be more diligent. Now, because of the divine temple, he can understand the origin of the divine God. The strength is improved again, and there is hope that he will reach a half-step emperor. With half a step of the emperor's strength, going to Hidao will also increase the chance of Hidao. The most important thing is to get the experience of Hidao in the Qixin temple or some kind of secret method of Hidao. In the Wanggu era, to see you suddenly appeared dozens of emperors. This is the evidence. There is probably something in the Qixin temple that is of great help to Hidao. You reading www.okanshu.com. Each of these amazing talents has great ambitions, and their achievements are by no means limited to the third order emperor. Their goal is the fourth and even fifth order. If you don't have this kind of strong heart, it is better to choose a fourth rank origin to join the Dao and become the emperor and the weakest emperor. In addition to these Dao monarchs, Yuhua continent also has a single powerful person, each of whom can escape from Dao monarchs' hands, and will not be afraid of Dao monarchs' threat and wantonly slaughter other Dayan immortals. Each of these powerhouses ranks in the top 20 on the Eclosian continent. If the strong man of the first echelon is Daojun, then the second echelon is the remaining 15 extreme Dayan immortals in the top 20. Each of them has touched the threshold of Daojun, and their strength is only one step away. Those Dao monarchs are aloft, but will not leave their area without authorization. These limit Dayan immortals who touch the threshold of Dao monarchs do not have so many constraints. They can go to any area to slaughter. Chapter 5196. So Crazy Yang is even more afraid of these people. Once they feel the terrible breath, they will desperately flee or hide their breath. The Dayan immortals of the third echelon are equally terrifying. They are all lonely, extreme Dayan immortals, but fortunately, there are not many such strong people, only the dozens of people. In general, the real hunters in the Eclosian continent are actually the upper limit Dayan immortals, each of them ranked in the top 100, extremely powerful. After so many years of fighting, only a few of the limit Dayan immortal had fallen, and they were unlucky enough to meet Dao's sovereign blood moon. There were a number of extreme Dayan immortals who died in the hands of Daojun blood moon. There was once an extreme Dayan immortal who touched the threshold of Dao monarch and provoked the Daoist blood moon head-on, and was finally beheaded at the lunar mountain in the central area. This is also the most powerful Evangelion ever to fall on this primordial star. Daojun blood moon also became the number one with this record, and it has been maintained until now on the list of cosmic gods and demons. Almost all of the top 1,000 are Daojun, extremely powerful, and the top 200 are mostly half-step emperors. His ranking is extremely high. On this primordial star, the highest ranking of the universe gods and demons is not him, but the extremely low-key 10,000-star Dao sovereign, a peerless powerhouse who cultivates the origin of 10,000 Dao. He ranked 218th, second only to the existence of the Emperor Banbu. With such a terrifying strength, he was extremely low-key on primordial star, ranking him the worst among the 5 Dao monarchs. These 5 Dao monarchs, Jian Wushuang kept in mind that all the information of these people is very precious, especially that they have cultivated the kind of genius which is very convenient for him to escape. Tao sovereign of 10,000 stars, who is stronger than Juyu, Tao sovereign of blood moon with the highest speed of primitive star. The degree of danger of these two people is too exaggerated. One can escape when they meet, and the other doesn't even have the courage to fight. There are more than 200 superpowers in the universe, half a step away from the Emperor, one step away, the Dayan Immortal with the unity of 10,000 ways. In addition to these people, Jian Wushuang also took down the information about the Pinnacle Dayan Immortal one by one. Although the General Pinnacle Dayan Immortal could not threaten him, he still had to write it down, because in the Eclosion continent, the biggest enemies are still the peaks of the great fairy immortals. Some of these peak Dayan immortals are relatively lonely and walk alone, and some are shameless. 3 or 5 gather together to siege and kill some ordinary rank 9 teams. In the emerging continent, below the peak of Dayan Immortal, there are almost no solitary people, each of which is a group of more than a dozen strong men. Crazy Yang and his team have been running around in the western regions because there are the least limit Dayan Immortals there, and their team is of high quality. Each is the top Dayan Immortal. 9 people form a team, fighting all over the place, and they have also made some breakthroughs. Title. However, it was precisely because of this that he dared to provoke a Pinnacle Dayan Immortal, and in the end the source of the fight was consumed by half. Then how much record did you get in total? Jian Wushuang said slowly, but his eyes revealed a trace of killing intent. Crazy Yang's record now determines his life and death. If there is more, he will be killed. If there is less, he will be let go. A lunatic who consumes half of his original power cannot be swallowed by Jian Wushuang. He has contributed so many useful things. Information, it's not impossible to let him go. 970,000. Crazy Yang said stiffly. So few. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. He spent many years in the main continent. With this record, waiting for the end of the trial, it would be difficult to keep the first 10,000, but when he thinks that he will fight with the other 8 people, he will understand. Come over, frown, play with the taste. But it's also your good luck. More than 1 million, I really won't let you go. He would kill if he said 1 million in his heart, but he wouldn't kill 1 million. Even if the difference was 30,000, he would not kill. This is the state of mind of Jian Wushuang now. Okay, just think about whether there is anything interesting. Jian Wushuang ate and drank to the top. He hasn't been so relaxed for a long time. Since entering the great wilderness, he has either been moving bricks or desperately fleeing, breaking through, practicing, confused, and fighting. Nowadays, 1 drink and 1 peck has greatly helped his mood, and he has confidence in the 5th level of his mental strength. On the emerging continent, there are many alliances of weak and small people. They are all elites of some big powers. They are in a group, and several Tao monarchs will not act on them by default. There is this kind of weird thing. Jian Wushuang sneered. He had a hunch that these people would be killed as pigs in the last few years. Whereas Qishan Temple, the greatest opportunity in the entire primitive universe, even the emperors are crazy about it, even more so than to mention their Dayan immortals. Those few Tao monarchs who don't want to succeed in the same way, who don't want to fight for the first place, what can they do if they offend the big forces? If they succeed in the way and become a 4th order emperor, they will still be afraid of those big forces. Under the emperor are ants. No one will offend a 4th order emperor for them. These people will not foolishly think that they can really do whatever they want. When the time comes, several Tao monarchs will kill the pigs and serve them in a pot, which is faster than chasing down the peak Dayan immortals one by one. It has been 6 years since the Temple of Qishan was opened. There are millions of Dayan immortals, and now there are a few left. If everyone looks forward and looks forward to the future. Can such a person die? According to Crazy Yang, there are still 300,000 Dayan immortals in the emerging continent, plus more than 100,000 hidden in the mountains. In just 6 years, the primordial star has died at least 2 million Dayan immortals. With a record of more than 40 million, he only ranked 72. Isn't that the top 10 with hundreds of millions of records? How many Dayan immortals have to be killed? Even if some 9th rank leapfrog kills 9th rank perfection, it's not will swell the record to this point. And this is the ranking 3 years ago. Now, he has fallen out of the top 100. 2 million are small. When he got the identity token, he took a cursory look. Primordial Star has 3 million Dayan immortals. Now, it is estimated that the remaining is less than 500,000, and more than 250 died. 1 Dayan immortal. According to the ratio of 9 ranks and consummation Dayan immortal converted into a record, it is tens of billions of records. Especially in the first 3 years, it was extremely crazy. When Huiqing killed Luo Hao barely entered the top 1,000 with a record of only 1 million. But now, the 1 million record can't even get in 2,000. And when the last few years are really crazy, the first 10,000 won't be able to hold. According to his current calculations, entering the top 1,000 requires 5 million records. Entering the top 100 requires more than 50 million records. The top 10 requires 500 million. And the top 5 requires more than 1 billion. But the crazier the better. The more he kills, he doubles anyway. As long as he kills 10 pinnacle Dayan immortals, he will be able to sit firmly in the first place with a record of 5 billion. Even if the Blood Moon Daojun can kill it, it will be useless. Chapter 51:97. The first layer of the Ju Xian array has completed the training, which can increase the combat power of the sword formation by 3 times. Originally, the 9 phantom swords could threaten the peak Dayan immortal. Under the control of Huiqing, he even cut Miluo, killed. Now that it has tripled, it shouldn't be too difficult for him to deal with a peak Dayan immortal alone. However, he also set a time limit for himself. 20 years, and 20 years of fighting must return to the mountains. 20 years later, after the trial is over, there are only 3 or 4 years left. By then, several Taoists will surely liquidate them. The ranking of this original star alone can't prove anything. They are going to sprint for the overall ranking. Of course, this is just Jian Wushuang's guess. No one knows whether there are so-called hidden rules in the Temple of Qishan, but everyone wants to be active in front of the Temple of Qishan. Jian Wushuang put away the case in front of him, slowly got up. The treasure that suppressed the breath circulated with it. There was no breath on his body except for the naked eye. He couldn't feel his existence at all. You are lucky this time. I will spare your life. Crazy Yang seemed to understand something. A gleam of light flashed in his sluggish eyes. By the way, if you enter the Eclosion continent, you must join a certain organization, which is of great use. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows and joined a certain organization. He hadn't really thought about this. With his strength in the emerging continent, he had reached the point where he didn't need to form a team. There was no need to go to anyone anymore, and he would restrict others by then. Why? Jian Wushuang said lightly, 3 years ago, in the western part of the Feathering Continent, a monk had emerged from nowhere. The combat power was very powerful. He lost several top teams. However, he did not kill any of them. He just accepted their identity order. The card, even the treasure, was not captured. This monk is called a demon monk, and his strength is comparable to the limit. And the stronger he is in Vietnam, he has reached the threshold of Daojun. Today, even the peak Dayan immortal has begun to hold a group. That monk is too terrifying. In the chassis of the five princes, sweeping wanton, the efficiency is comparable to that of the princes, and the combat power is strong. Crazy Yang said. His voice trembled a little. Their team had watched from a distance the scene of the demon monk sweeping the peak Dayan immortal. A long stick stirred the world, and the earth changed color, and several extreme Dayan immortals were planted into his hands. Monk. Jian Wushuang frowned and quickly took out his identity token to check. Trial. Hui Qing ranking. 16. Jian Wushuang took a breath, couldn't believe it. When he was separated from Hui Qing's strength was almost comparable to the Dayan immortal who touched the limit threshold. How could he be the Taoist in a blink of an eye? Didn't he just break through the 9th rank? Even if it is the 9th-ranked Dayan immortal of the ultimate way, he is at best the ultimate Dayan immortal's combat power. Could it be said that his 9th-ranked Dayan immortal is complete? Jian Wushuang added his lips. He knew that Hui Qing had a big secret, but he didn't expect him to hide so deeply, and he was so fierce as soon as he left. In only 3 years, it has been ranked in the top 20. Hui Qing's goal is probably to be the top 10 or even win the first prize in the hands of Dao Jun. However, if he breaks through to become the 9th-ranked consummation, I am afraid it will be difficult to fight for the first place. If he is still the 9th-ranked Dayan immortal, then the chance is quite big. After all, he can get a doubled record after leaping. Where is he now? Jian Wushuang couldn't help asking. He and Hui Qing are also considered practitioners of the same generation, and Hui Qing's sudden eruption is different from his step-by-step to the top. Although Hui Qing had cultivated for 30 million years, he was not a fairy before entering the great wilderness. In the end, when he faced Xiang Bingyun, he suddenly broke out and entered the Tao with one step, directly contending with the 9th turn to consummation. At that time, his Tao was still unstable, and now it seems that he has completely mastered the ultimate Tao before he burst out of such strength. Jian Wushuang is different. He has been training for more than 20,000 years between life and death, step by step, stepping on the path of God, destroying God's dynasty, getting help from Xian Yi, and finally entering the big division domain and getting many emperors of gifts, reluctantly became the ultimate immortal. This is the result of his more than 20,000 years of hard work. After entering the great wilderness, he awakened his mind, entered the starry sky, and practiced for hundreds of millions of years, mastered the ultimate path. And only after he came out did he really take off. Constantly breaking through, in less than 10 years, he has the combat power of the pinnacle Dayan immortal. But all of this is based on the foundation of more than 20,000 years, plus hundreds of millions of years of cultivation in special places like the starry sky. Now that Hui Qing took 2 steps, 1 step at a time, he was directly stronger than him, which made him a little unacceptable. Could it be that Hui Qing also entered the starry sky at a certain moment and practiced for hundreds of millions of years? The chance of this is very small. If Hui Qing enters the starry sky, at least he has mastered the extreme way, but he has not felt any similar aura from Hui Qing. In addition to these, there is one possibility left. Hui Qing is the chosen son of Qishan Temple. It was the Temple of Qishan that cultivated Hui Qing in secret, and it was even more puzzled to think of Jian Wushuang here. To be reasonable, his talent is also good. So why doesn't the Temple of the Gods come to train him? Or is it because of the Temple of Qishan that he can awaken his mind and master the ultimate path? Jian Wushuang was lost in thought. He didn't know that he had been said to be dead by the true spirit of the Qishan Temple. He believed that he could not go far, so he did not invest in him. The Temple of Qishan is indeed more optimistic about Hui Qing. Among all Dayan immortals, Hui Qing's talent can enter the top 10, and he is the key successor of the Temple of Qishan. And Jian Wushuang, and the others are just stepping stones for these heirs. Hui Qing didn't want to kill. Others would not. For the sake of a few successors, I am afraid that 90% of the Dying Immortal in the universe would have to be sacrificed. After all, Dying Immortal is not an emperor. After an epoch, Dying Immortal will spring up like bamboo shoots after a rain. The emperor may need a longer time, but for the Temple of Qishan, these are nothing. After clearly comprehending the purpose of the Temple of Qishan, the evil aura on Jian Wushuang's body unconsciously exudes the true spirit is no more than a true spirit no matter how strong it is. He regards the creatures of the primitive universe as beings. When Gu came to raise him, Jian Wushuang could take this opportunity to change himself, and he could help each other. If Jian Wushuang finally fell, the true spirit clapped his hands and applauded, even if he passed it. And he didn't fall. He could also take the opportunity to recruit Jian Wushuang into external forces. No matter what, no loss. The abacus is very good, but it depends on Jian Wushuang's disagreement. The next moment, Jian Wushuang's figure reversed, and the evil aura turned into black lightning surrounding him, making crackling noises from time to time. This breath made Crazy Yang feel terrified in the sluggishness, and his body couldn't retreat on its own. Jian Wushuang pierced the rock and saw the entire primordial star at a glance, and disappeared into the cave in a flash. Crazy Yang, who stayed in the same place, also woke up at this moment.